Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola, and we have our ranters with us today to talk about Moon Knight, Episode 6, and the entire series. We're going to recap Episode 6 and then go over our thoughts for the whole series. Will it be a Series 2? So let's talk about, let's say hello to our ranters. Hello, Bruno.
Hello.
Hello, Larry.
Hey.
And hello, Mila.
Hello.
All right, gang. So, Bruno, you have a recap for us?
I got it.
So we just finished watching the episode. Literally, we just turned the TV off, and we're recording about it. So everything should be fresh in our brain, and we'll see what happens. So Bruno, hit us up with a recap.
Okay. So it starts off with Harrow. You see Mark's body. Harrow gets the Ashabti from Mark's body, and then hilarity ensues.
And that's it. It's done.
Perfect
Roll
recap.
credits.
Essentially, he gets the Ashabti. He holds it up to all of his followers, and he's like, all right, who wants to go killing people? Or save the world is literally what he said.
It's all how you put things, from a certain point of view.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all in the
perspective.
subtext, It's all in the subtext.
Harrow's staff then transforms into this wacky half crocodile, half like battle axe.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funky. Layla
And it lengthens too, it gets longer.
Yeah, that's right. Layla survives, and she somehow tags along on the caravan that Harrow sort of creates and he's heading towards the Pyramid of Giza to apparently attack it and kill all the avatars, which he successfully does.
And that's where he's going to release
Yes.
Amit there.
Yeah.
On the way there, they run into a roadblock stop, and he gets out. And this is the first time you see sort of the power that he's gained through, his followers, and he's about to release Amit. He's able to sort of judge people en masse, and everybody at the stop gets judged, and one guy survives.
Yeah, he just slams the staff into the ground. And
All that part comes from
instantly.
that staff.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll go over this. Harrow, let's see, one guy survives. Layla finds that this is a good opportunity to try to kill him, and as she pulls out her dagger,
I brought my knife.
Yeah, she brought a knife, and then one of the dead guys reanimates, and you hear Toweret's voice, convincing her to don't do it right now. You're not powerful enough. What you got to do is release
Mark's telling you
Khonshu.
to stop.
Yeah.
Mark's telling you to stop. You got to release Khonshu. Khonshu will help. And go from there. And then she says, and you can be my avatar. Toweret tells her to stop. Then they cut to the scene at the Giza Pyramid where the avatars are now fighting with Harrow. Harrow basically kills them all. Then he breaks Amit's Ashabti and releases Amit. And I've got to say, Amit's voice is what it should have been, and Toweret's voice is stupid.
It's still weird.
Yeah, it was not. It was definitely not as jarring as when Towet at first opened her mouth and was like, "Hi," and
It
you're like,
was still
"What?"
jarring to see the people on the ground reanimated, kind of goofily, talking to her,
Yeah.
"Hey, don't
Yeah.
stop right there! Don't go any further."
Yeah, it feels like Towet is just kind of like one of those.
She's like a joke god.
Yeah. Almost like a
She's
silly
Disney
god.
Disney god, yeah.
Yeah. She's the Disney Phil.
I fucking hate that voice. I hate it. So anyway, when the guy was animated, first of all, kudos to that actor. He did an awesome job. On the guy on the ground. She tells her, don't do it now. Release Khonshu. Let's see. So Harrow then agrees to become Amit's avatar now that Amit is released. And we can talk about I apologize. You were correct, Larry. He was not the avatar prior to that.
All right,
Larry gets a point.
It only took like 3-4 episodes.
Settle down. You get 1 out of 30. You're fine.
Layla breaks Khonshu's Ashabti, releasing Khonshu. And then Khonshu asks Layla to be his avatar. She says no.
Yeah.
And then
she's basically, you turn Mark's life into a living nightmare.
Right.
Yeah.
What the hell would you think I want to do?
I think she definitely
It's
saw through all of that.
Yeah, and Mark constantly goes like, "Dude,
But Mark
I cannot trust this guy. He's awful."
Mark knew it too way back when, but when he was dying, he almost didn't have
he got
a choice.
no choice.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And he
die or
He regretted it
be this
afterwards.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, better than being dead, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's which is why he never wanted Layla to pick up the mantle.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you suddenly cut to Mark back in the field of reeds, and he's at peace, and Toweret is there talking to him about you're whole again, and all of this peacefulness is actually you manifesting the peace, and that's coming from you. Enjoy this. You deserve it. You worked hard. And Stephen is not happy with the fact that, Mark is unhappy with the fact that Stephen got left behind.
Yeah.
And Stephen made like the ultimate sacrifice, essentially. Yeah. And so he says, no, this is not going to work for me. I'm going to go and save Stephen. And he basically gives up like heaven.
Yeah.
To go back and save Stephen, which I think was awesome. Mark goes back, finds Stephen in the sand, sort of pours his heart out to him, acknowledges all of the help that Stephen gave him, and talks about just what he meant and the sacrifice. It was really I really love that scene. And then he reaches out to him as Mark is turned into stone. Yeah. Reaches out to him, and they sort of connect hand-wise, and you see the heart in the middle. Yeah. I loved everything about that scene. I thought it was really heartfelt. I thought it was really very cool. Heartfelt. And then Osiris, I think, appreciates the sacrifice that Mark made, and appreciates the change that they've, manifested, and brings them both back to life, and brings them both literally back from turning to stone, and then literally back to life. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And then Khonshu, let's see. Then it cuts back to the real world. Khonshu and Amit are in the pyramid, and they begin to fight. Meanwhile,
Khonshu's kind of getting his ass handed to him. For
he is.
part.
Did you notice that she
Time was
said
not
you
the
don't
time
have
to
any
you.
faith? You don't have enough faith. In other words, no followers. You don't have anybody. And which
He's
is
not
got
nearly
like
powerful.
not nearly as
sort
powerful.
of Mark.
Yeah.
which we talked about.
And not even
Joel,
that.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more followers they have, the more powerful they are.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
cool that they referenced it in the show, because it's kind of implied and it's kind of known, but it's not really. But I think I like that they said that. Mark and Stephen, meanwhile, are with Khonshu negotiating a deal for a release if they help.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the
Khonshu.
desert. They're back to being Moon Knight and Mr. Knight.
Yeah, which I thought was really
I
good.
thought that was awesome.
That was
Yeah, we're a package deal now, so
Yeah.
let's chat.
I gotta say-
we're not lifting a finger until we get a contract here.
Yeah.
We
At
want
the beginning,
we want to unionize.
At
Yeah.
the beginning of the season, I didn't really like Steven's Mr. Knight costume and that whole persona, but I really liked him at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda grows
he
on
grew.
you.
He grew
Yeah.
as a character too, which is super
Yeah.
important. Because at first he was this nervous wreck that was good for absolutely nothing.
Other than comic relief, yeah, he was good for nothing.
But he grew as a likable character and a character you got attached to too.
and he
So
kicked
it's
some
like,
ass. By the end of it, he kicked
oh
some
yeah,
ass.
right,
I mean,
which
I
it
thought
helps.
I thought that was some awesome character development with Steven along the way, which was
Yeah.
obviously the payoff for the last episode was awesome.
Yes,
yeah.
I totally agree with that, and everything Steven did. Steven's whole arc, I think, was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It was really well
He was a
done.
nobody, and then like he finds out he's the made up persona, and then he changes and helps Mark get over it, and he sacrifices himself. Like everything was really well done.
Oh yeah.
All right. So meanwhile, Layla finds out that in order to defeat Amit, they need to imprison him in a living body. And then she agrees to be Toweret's temporary avatar, thus turning her into the
Scarlet
Scarab. Yep.
Told you.
I really like the word scarlet. This go around, huh?
In the meantime, Harrow goes to the top of the pyramid, slams his staff into it, and basically initiates a mass judgment over everybody in the town.
Yeah, all the way.
because
Was that Cairo, right?
Yeah,
Cairo.
I'm gonna say, well, let's take care of Cairo first, and then we'll get to the rest of the world and judging everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
So she's starting local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just to test the waters,
Start
you
local,
know.
think local. You know what I mean?
And as all these people are dying, Amit essentially eats their souls, and she grows to like giant kaiju size.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which it was a little hokey.
Yeah.
The
I
two
thought so,
gods
too.
was,
Although,
like just kicking it.
God
you know what I mean?
kaiju battle, that was
There's, like, a private
awesome.
home
Yeah.
and
I
it's a
love
whole
a God
boss
kaiju
fight.
battle.
But
That was awesome.
My question is, did the people of Cairo see that? Are they witnessing
I
that?
don't
Or
think-
was that
no.
more
Yeah,
like
they're seeing it.
No.
it wasn't? It was only
I don't
for the
think so.
followers,
Yeah.
right?
No, I don't
I
think
think
they
were
did.
seeing it. I think
You
they
think
were,
so?
Yeah, I think they were.
I think they were more distracted at, oh my God, there's people dying
yeah,
and
yeah,
my soul's
absolutely.
getting sucked out. And I don't think they were really focusing
I
on
don't
the
know.
kaiju.
I think it was kind of just.
But again,
But I
we
don't think
mentioned
they were
this
seeing it.
before. This is the land of the MCU, right? It's somewhere in the Earth. There's a giant celestial sticking out of the Earth,
Right.
Like you're like, it's a Tuesday. It's just a big crocodile
Big
and
crocodile
a
and a
beak thing, a bird
thing.
fighting,
Although, you know how
knocking
the,
into the pyramids. I guess we're gonna need some new pyramids. I guess. So.
but the
call
gods,
it those
the
ancient
gods
people.
could choose to be seen or not seen by other
Yeah.
people. So I mean, it felt like by default they're not seeing it unless the god chooses to let you see them.
Yeah. That
So
was
I wasn't
the
sure.
vibe that I was
Wasn't
getting.
sure if they could see them.
I don't think they'd get a lot out of the people seeing them, so I think they probably kept themselves hidden. But we wouldn't really know, and I don't think we're going to ever find
Although
out.
Khonshu moved his staff on the ground, you see it push the cars and stuff.
Push the cars and everything. Yeah, so that was pretty
So
cool.
it could have been like when they were fighting that jackal, the invisible jackal.
Nobody could see the
Nobody
jackal.
could see it,
Yeah.
but they could see the effects of it.
That's what I assume it was.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know?
Yeah, we saw that.
Something like that.
So so maybe they didn't see the actual staff, but they saw the cars.
They saw shit moving.
Yeah, it's like, what the
What is going on?
Cinematically, when they did that, they showed you that nobody could see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They never really illustrate one way or the other.
Yeah.
But you do see him move the cars with the staff.
Yeah.
Right? And if we were to kind of come to the point that people can't see it, the cars would have moved on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And also, again, that
freaky.
also would have just been another Tuesday in the MCU, you know?
That's pretty mild.
Like,
actually.
just a
Gotta
mysterious
get some
force
falafel.
moving the cars around.
You
Who
can see them
cares?
like in the house, like guys. There's no celestial erupting from the earth, so we're okay.
We're
We're good. That's right.
It's not that bad.
That's the new barometer, right?
I mean, you got to set a baseline.
Head sticking out of the side of the earth. We're fine.
We're good.
You got to set a
We got
baseline.
this one.
People poofed
Whatever.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was
the-
pretty big.
So the battle continues. You could see the kind of like the kaiju battle of the gods mirrored sort of what was going on the ground.
Yeah.
So whenever
That was cool. That was
whenever
a
Mark
that was a
and
nice
Steven
touch.
were down, Khonshu was kind of down, and then it would return. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, with like Amit and then also the guy with the sandals. What's his name? I can't.
Harrow.
It's just not a memorable name for me. I'm sorry. I'll remember
okay.
it one day. Maybe during season 2, possibly.
So Layla shows up as the Red
Spend time
Scarab,
at Book Over Town.
and she helps Mark and Steven in the battle against Harrow. Although it was interesting that 2-on-1 they still were struggling. Right, so
That was my thing. I was
Yeah,
like, wait a minute.
like
Why?
they're
Has a
two
stick.
Why was he so
battle-prepared
powerful?
people. You know, they know how to fight.
Yeah.
Versus this one guy who's got
that part really bothered
you know,
me, actually.
sandal.
They should be kicking the shit out of him.
But I mean, I guess it goes back
handle
to
the
that.
fist.
You know, he's got more followers, so
Yeah.
he has more power. He's
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
the power directly
Yeah.
from Ahmed, who is more powerful.
So he's
that's
just
the only thing I
stronger.
could.
I mean, and
the avatars,
know,
so they're pulling
it's
through
the
the power.
soul.
and that's for me. That's an easy enough write off.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's the reason why. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, that makes
Yeah.
Give me a
sense.
decent reason. I
It
can
made
buy
for a good battle anyway. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm not too hung up on it.
Well, that's it. The battle could have been really short because it was 2-on-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That could have been a really short battle if he wasn't at all.
So it's like, well, she's the more powerful god right now, so
Yeah, they're gonna have their
Yeah.
avatars will be more powerful. Yeah.
yeah.
So then during that battle, a bunch of stuff happens, sort of battle, related. But Mark gets pinned down, and then you see my favorite part of every one of these episodes. He blanks out
Yep.
and comes to, and everything's solved. Everybody's dead. And he's got a Harrow with an
What?
axe to his head.
Yeah.
He's got the crocodile axe
He's
to his
about-
dome piece. You're
Yeah,
like, whoa.
I was like,
almost out of Thanos. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
almost went through his
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Love that. That was so cool.
So that was really cool. And
then
that,
she's like,
I think
"What just
right there,
happened?"
Jake is the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it pretty much confirms that. Then they take his body and they go to the temple, Mark and Layla. And they go to the temple and they perform the ritual and they imprison Amit into Harrow's body. And then Khonshu shows up and is like, finish him off, kill him, you'll kill them both.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Right, because then she'll
Yeah.
never find a way to come back. If
Right.
you leave it unsolved, you leave him alive, then I can basically come
You've
back.
got loose
possibly,
ends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but Mark, I thought it was interesting. Mark finds his humanity and decides he doesn't want to be like that, and he decides to not kill him.
Yeah, I mean, he tells guys, like, well, you're kind of like her.
Yeah.
You're sounding
Yeah.
like Amit now.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they let Harrow live, and they demand resolution on their contract, and they want to be released. So Khonshu releases, Mark and Steven.
Yeah. And imagine Layla, too.
No, she has a
Layla
different
was
god.
Tawaret's. Layla was Tawaret's
That's
avatar,
right.
so we don't
She
know.
was temporary anyway.
She did say temporary, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Although
we don't have
they're
resolution on that
going to
because we'll
include
see it.
Red Scarab and more stuff. I think I read somewhere.
Scarlet Scarab.
The Scarlet Scarab. Sorry.
Yeah. So maybe
I think I
she's
read
not.
Sonya.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know
Oh my
Moon
God.
Knight's not gone either. So
Yeah, so I think she's a good
Yeah.
sidekick.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine that they would keep her there as, sort of like, hey, this is going okay. Especially
Yeah.
since Tawaret's kind of a, she's not like an imposing god.
No.
When
Yeah.
she said, no,
She's
this
the
is
goddess of,
temporary,
like, fertility,
Tawaret was like,
you know?
yeah, that's cool. No worries. Temporary is fine
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
So then
And the Scarlet Scarab had a really cool outfit, I gotta say.
Yeah,
that was pretty
sick
cool.
as hell.
And that
when
was
she
what-
brings out the wings, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
The swords on the end. I was like, whoa. And that was cool too. Like when Tara was speaking through, she was like, oh yeah, I have this pretty cool costume too. Wow. and like
I
as
like
soon as she
that.
said, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
really?
wanted to see what she was going to look like in her costume.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it was super sick.
It was kind of crazy, yeah.
So then they cut back to the asylum,
And credit.
which I thought was weird. I'm still kind of processing what that means. I'm assuming that maybe it meant. So anyway, they go to the asylum. Starts off as Stephen talking to Harrow, and then they're in the mid conversation. Stephen changes to Jake's character, and you can tell he's kind of like
all
catty
three of
and
them were
rugged.
there.
All three of them
Mark
were
was
in that
there.
room.
Yeah.
And then they see Harrow walking, and there's blood coming out of his sandals. So that I think that is what was the resolution that sort of kicked them out of that organizing principle and realized that this is a fake construct.
Right.
So then he wakes up. Stephen wakes up again,
Mark.
shackled. Mark wakes up.
He's looking for Steven.
Yeah.
But he's got two fish now.
Yeah, there's two
Yeah.
fish. I thought that was interesting. He wakes up in his room, sees two fish in this fish tank, which
Got
is
some magic
another
fish.
callback to
Yeah.
we got these two guys working together.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of bed and he finds out again that he's shackled to the bed. And then it ends.
Knows it.
And I was bullshit with that ending.
Yeah,
But
you
then,
were.
Then there's a post credit scene.
Yeah, I was furious at that ending. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was a
no
little
way.
Yeah.
cut.
They really just ended like that?
Yeah, if that was the ending, I would have been
fuming.
bullshit. And then there's a post-credit scene, so if you watch this, stick around for it. Basically, Harrow is in a real asylum, and somebody comes and basically breaks him out of there, throws him into
Took him for a walk.
Took him for a walk.
Yeah.
Put him in the wheelchair.
Let's
take him
go,
for a
pal.
walk.
Let's go.
Takes him out, puts him in this nice, beautiful white limousine with the plate Spectre, SPKTR.
That's
So
that's
good.
Really cool
a bit
callback.
on the nose, did you
Cool
think?
callback.
It's like a Phantom. What are they called? The Phantom car. What is it? It's not Austin Martin. Is it Austin Martin? No. It's one
No,
of
but
those.
Spectre is part of the cartoon.
Yeah. No. I know that. But the
kind of car?
The car. Yeah. It's
Who makes Phantom? Is it Rolls Royce?
yeah. It's like a Rolls Royce or something like that. Yeah.
I'm going to say
That was,
yes.
Well, that was a big car for a while. Was the Phantom vehicle? Looks like and then Chrysler came out with one.
Remember in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, and like they give the Arab guy like the car. He's like, I even like the color. Like trying to offer him all this like jewels, but he wants the car. It's one of those Rolls Royce like Phantoms. This is just a newer version of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then he gets into the
Really expensive.
It looks
limousine.
like a nice car.
It's a really expensive car.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. So he gets to the limousine. Harrow's in there, looks across, and sees Conchu sitting across from him.
In a
the Mr.
nice
Knight-
suit.
In the Mr. Knight suit, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like not his normal rags.
And he's like, Harrow's like, you can't hurt me. Like, you can't hurt me. And he goes, I don't need to.
No, you can't hurt us.
Can't hurt us.
He realizes that he's still, him and
True.
Ahmed are one.
Yeah.
That's right. And he says, I don't have to. And then he says after, when Stephen and Mark asked to be released, I don't think they realized just how broken they were. And then the
He got the
window,
avatar he wanted.
the separate window, rolled down, and you see the third incarnation of basically Jake
He's like,
Lockley.
yeah, meet my friend Jake Lockley.
Yeah, comes
That was
Yeah.
great.
pokes through and fires two into Harrow's chest,
That was so
killing him.
cool.
Yeah. And that was great. So we finally get to see a real,
And they drive
Jake.
away.
Finally get to see a real Jake Lockley. He's got his scully cap on. He's got the full-on New York accent, the cabbie accent.
It almost actually sounds like a Chicago accent.
Could be.
Actually,
Yeah.
so when they were inside the office, I heard it come out, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds a little like
could be-
Chicago."
yeah, it could be
but
more Chicago.
I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
again, whatever way that they're going to use the quote unquote cab driver or chauffeur,
Yeah.
clearly, right?
Yeah.
Whether they use Chicago, New York, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I am glad that third incarnation of the person is here. So that's pretty cool.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors at Audible.
This podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible, stay connected, informed, and inspired. Try Audible Premium Plus for 30 days free. Your 30-day trial comes with 1 credit, 2 credits for Prime members. Good for any premium selection titles you like. Yours to keep. With the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals, you can listen all you want. No credits needed. Go to www.audibletrial.com/entertainmentrants to start your Audible Premium Plus 30-day trial today. $14.95 a month after 30 days. Cancel anytime. Audible, it's time to start listening.
All right, we are back. business taken care of. All right. Okay, so we did the recap. Thank you, Bruno. That was a great recap.
You're welcome.
Probably the best recap we've had ever.
Oh, yeah.
I would say,
yeah,
you're right.
smooth.
You were right. Like, taking notes as we watched was the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it helped a lot.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about who wants to go first, what you liked about it, what you didn't like. Talk to me. Who wants to
I'll go.
Larry, you haven't been very vocal this time, so let's start with you.
So overall, this whole episode, I thought it was really cool, man. I liked a lot of things about it. There were just a couple things that I didn't like, but it was easily written off. You know, like the battle between the 2-on-1. That one kind of, I was like, how are they not kicking the shit out of him? But then it's an easy write-off. Well, now he is an avatar. He does have power. So I was like, you know what? That makes sense. You know, just because he doesn't have a cool suit on like they have doesn't mean that he doesn't have power. Clearly, he does.
Yeah.
Cool write-off. Overall, I mean, I even like the little nuances, like when the little girl like that was staring at Layla, she was like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?"
Yes.
And she goes, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
Awesome moment.
Yeah.
I love the transition between Mark and Steven. They've now come to terms. Like they know
And
that
they can seamlessly back and forth
and
when
it
they
was
need to.
so seamless, and I love
They did
how
even
that
mid-battle,
happened.
right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like mid-battle, they finally got their shit together.
They could cut and they'd have a
it
different
was
uniform on,
so
do the same
awesome.
cool shit.
The transition between them was great. The back and forth between everybody, I thought the acting in this was really, really good. And I know that sometimes things can get a little wonky with like the voice of the god, and I'm not the fan of that. But whatever, I'm not going to let something like that really hold up the episode for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so strong.
It was just
Right,
a weird
exactly.
decision, you know?
Yeah, it was just weird, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how I was going to feel about the whole Steven and Mark coming back together, because like in my head I was like, well, he said that he can't go on without Steven, but he was just an alter ego of you, like you are the person, right? But I guess
Not in his mind.
Right. So that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's like he needed Steven. That kind of gave him
The
balance.
quietness almost seemed to bother him when he was in heaven. He's like, oh, it's really quiet.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
He's used to the noises in his head.
Yeah, and so when I first saw that, I was kind of like half and half about that. But then as the episode progressed, I was like, I get it. Like I now I see why he needed Steven to be there, right? And I was like, all right, I really, really like that connection between the two of them. Like, okay, you know, he's come to grips that I have social disorder, displacement, whatever, you know, and this is how I'm going to get through this. He acknowledged that he has this disorder, and that was awesome, you know, and like it's acknowledgement. This is how we work through it. So there's like hidden like real things about that, right? So I like that. The Jake Lockley. Now there was the one episode that I was like, I don't know, maybe
You wrote him off last episode.
right. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe they did it. Maybe they just this whole time that was kind of just like a nod that they're not going to introduce this third character. It was just kind of like a nod for the fans, and which I would have been fine with. But prior to that, I always said this third person is the one that we see being that brutal murderer.
Yeah.
Which is the person that I said that from the very first episode when he was in the village and he blacks out and all of a sudden there's like mass murder everywhere.
Yeah,
Definitely him.
Yeah.
That was Jake Lockley.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Because when Mark was doing stuff, there wasn't a lot of blood.
right. It was
Yeah.
just very tactical. He was kicking the shit out of people, but he was tactical about it, right?
Yeah.
Jake is just like, I just come here to kill shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Jake's just violent.
Yeah. And
He's like
that's
pure
and
rage.
that's
I do
who
have an
Conchu
option.
was.
Kill everyone.
So now here's the thing. With your not liking the end of it, if we didn't get the post-credit, when he wakes up out of that, when he comes out of bed and he trips, if they ended it there, I would have been okay with that. Just for the mere fact that, wait a minute, they themselves realize we're waking up to random shit and neither one of us know why. Like they've both acknowledged that they black out. Yep. So they put that chain back on going, hey, if we're blacking out, you don't remember it and I don't remember it. Because again, they talk to each other.
Yeah.
There's something else going on. So I would have been fine if they just ended it there.
It would have been a good.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least for
either
them
way,
to acknowledge it a little bit more, but
it's a good way for them to say we got a season 2 coming.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They didn't clean everything up, but my issue. Well, there are a few different issues, right? So we talked about this a bunch. Like, where did he get his power? Where did he get that staff? Does the staff that gives him the power? Like, because that
Right.
Yeah, that's been an
the power
ongoing
that
issue
he
throughout this
had-
whole season we've had.
The power that he had made me
have
think
to
that
go
he was the
back.
Avatar, but Larry was
I
right.
had to
He
go back
wasn't.
to like season 1. season 1, episode 1, and see if they ever explain the staff that
No,
more.
I don't
I'm
think
at this point,
they didn't.
Like the purpley stones that are in there are an essence or power from Amit, but where did he get them and how?
Yeah.
If Amit's been entombed for a couple thousand years, where did that shit come from?
I just
would it
assume
have
it's
worked?
just some magic staff.
Would it
he
have
found
worked
or
if someone else
something.
had picked up the staff? Some other believer. Let's say
Someone who
else
didn't have that
would
funky
that work for
tattoo.
them? Would they
right.
have gotten the tattoo manifested on their arm, even when he was, So I'm disappointed they didn't explain that, because that was kind of like, hey, we're just going to give him this thing.
Backstory we didn't get, and in theory, if they killed him at the end, as it looks like they did,
Now you got the staff.
Is he done?
Yeah. I mean, if they
The
killed,
staff is somewhere,
if they,
right? They
but if
threw
they
him into
killed,
I assume he's
threw him
done.
if they
into the
actually
staff
killed him,
somewhere.
and by extension killing Amit,
Well, the
does the
staff
staff
broke.
become zero? Does it become not useful because it's powered by her?
Good
Right.
question.
The staff broke. Remember
Wait,
when
did it
they
break?
picked up the body, Layla picks up the 3 sticks and just
Yeah.
like grabs them. That was the staff.
Yeah, they busted up the staff at the
Yeah.
end.
Okay.
Which is fine. Which is fine.
Which
the
is
staff
fine,
is
yeah.
just
well,
an
I guess we
object.
can't use it.
Right,
anymore,
right, right.
so.
Right. It's more about
Well,
him.
I feel that's not something like if it was like still a powerful staff
Yeah.
that got buried in the rubble. Like now somebody can just pick up the staff and go, ba-ba, I got power now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that they would do that for
You gotta
season
do-
2. Season
yeah.
2, season 2 is going to be something completely different. You can't
Yeah.
kind of rehash a little bit of this stuff that's in the, you know what I mean? It's like,
I
oh,
have
we're
my own
done.
theory about what season 2 can be. I have no idea what it's going to be, or I haven't looked
we'll
up.
save that for
any-
the end.
Yeah,
Save that for the end.
I mean, I think they didn't answer that, which is, I think, what makes him so special? What makes Harrow so special? Was he a believer? Great, but there were plenty of other believers. Why didn't they have power?
He was
So it
just
the
like
staff.
mega believer.
Where
I
did he get
guess.
the staff?
Yeah, I mean, he was the
What
head
gave-
believer, right? He's
Yeah.
the main believer
He was
guy
like
who
the
wants
priest,
to actually do.
you know?
But I feel like
but
the
he
writers
also was an avatar, right? He was supposedly he was
Khonshu.
he was
Khonshu's
conscious of
avatar.
so maybe that's
Yeah.
where he learned about.
Oh, yeah.
about
Maybe.
Ahmet, and so he already had that kind of like.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knowledge.
I feel
of
like
the
no. I
whole
feel like
world.
since he was Khonshu's avatar at one point, I feel like we're gonna continue to get more information about Harrow. I
hope not.
Harrow's dead.
I know, no, but through Khonshu because Khonshu's still alive. But like, I don't think
doubt
it's
it.
gonna be
I hope,
pivotal, but maybe pivotal for like Khonshu as a character.
Maybe, but I hope
You know?
they leave the Harrow stuff behind.
I hope they do too, but I feel like
I'm already tired
there's
of
a chance that might come back up.
I'm
You
tired of
know,
this guy.
I mean, he's kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm
right.
done with this guy.
Yeah.
He was just a fanatic, and they essentially took care of him.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be good to keep him dead. But my question is now, how are you going to reintegrate Steven and Mark into Moonlight? Right? They've really cut.
Oh, I think there's
Is
plenty
Jake-
of ways to do that.
yeah.
Jake
Jake's
is
the
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight now,
Jake's his
right?
avatar.
Yeah,
So
but like in
by
the comics,
essence-
there was no axing of the other two. There
Right.
was,
Sure. But I mean, it's writing. They can write them back in
yeah,
because they
and go like, hey,
have
I need
to
you
for
again or
some,
something,
yeah.
and they go,
If
okay.
Jake is too crazy, they need to kind of come in and help out
Yeah.
and be. There's a million ways they can write them back in. Right. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good to see them kind of get that. All right, we're done.
Yeah,
Jake's going to keep doing it. So by essence, they're still doing it. That one body is still doing it.
Yeah, I
but-
can't wait for like some scene in season 2, like the first episode. They're like just vibing, like doing whatever they're doing, and then all of a sudden they like black out and wake up, and they're surrounded by a bunch of bodies in a different place, and go, what?
What? No, we don't.
This
Oh
is-
no, not again.
We still don't know if they're doing
Uh-oh.
season 2, right? We don't know that yet.
They're talking about it, like the
Yeah.
director and stuff like that. Like they're seriously considering.
They
a season
absolutely
2.
should,
They should.
Yeah.
They should. Yeah.
because I'd watch
But
it.
they haven't announced that yes they're doing one or they're going to put him in a movie or they're going to do it in other stuff. They haven't exactly stated what they're going to do with this character. But hopefully they do. Hopefully season 2 happens and he starts showing up in some of the movies.
right. Well, Phase 4 is kind of like locked in. Like we know it's Phase 4, right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
we know
I think
all
so.
the movies that are coming out in Phase 4.
No,
They're
I think
up-
we know. I think we know part. I think we know the first half of Phase 4.
Yeah, I don't
What's the
think we know
first half
all
of
them.
Phase 4?
Like Thor. We've already started.
Oh yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Black Widow started Phase 4.
Yeah,
the movie Black
but there's
Widow.
all this stuff,
Oh.
Ant-Man, the Quantum
yeah.
Realm, that kind of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Quantumania, Fantastic Four. There's a bunch of stuff.
All the Disney Plus stuff
All the
that's coming
stuff,
out, like
yeah.
She-Hulk
Secret
and all that.
Invasions.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel, the Marvels,
The Marvels.
The Marvels.
the Captain Marvel 2.
Oh,
They're doing
Yeah,
that
that's where we're going to see. So we're going to get introduced to
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel during
Oh,
the
yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yippee
Then when
bip.
they do the Marvels, she's going to be part of that as well.
does Miss Marvel, is her power like the stretchy too?
Yes,
Yeah.
technically, but they're changing it for the TV show.
To
Like she
what?
had like these gauntlet things that allow her to be basically like Mr. Fantastic, but it's not. It's almost
different.
more Green Lantern, but purple. So she almost like her arm. She has like constructs that come out like Green Lantern and can come away and like hit somebody from afar,
like a cartoon, like big fist. You know, like you go
like Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, yeah.
And you always see like
does.
pow and bam.
I can't wait
yeah.
for those to pop up. But yeah, so
Turn into a giant hammer. And go.
It's kind of like that. They're basically
Sandman
doing
or
Green Lantern
something.
with her, but sure, gauntlets do that for her instead of a power ring. It's the gauntlet.
Right.
Yeah, but it seems like I
Interesting
saw like
choice.
preview for it already. It seems very high school, junior high schoolish. It's kind of fun and
Hi.
kid-like. But like the She-Hulk one, I know we're getting way off of Moon Knight, but the She-Hulk is also supposed to be a comedy.
Really?
Yeah, they're kind of building it.
Well,
as a
they've
comedy.
embraced the whole Thor concept of
Yeah.
like make them funny, make them adult humor kind of funny. But I don't think you can do that with all of the
No.
characters.
no way.
Moon Knight
I hope
couldn't
not
have done
too.
that,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Marvel's going to turn into a comedy scene.
Yeah,
But they've already
I don't-
talked about a WandaVision 2. They're possibly doing that.
Why?
Don't
dead.
you? Don't
not
you
dead.
dare.
It's not dead. What are you talking about?
Wanda's
Wait,
Dead?
hold on. Are we talking about something that I haven't seen yet?
I don't know. Have you seen Doctor Strange?
No, I'm seeing it this weekend.
2? Yeah, Wanda's not dead.
Okay.
She's not dead. Did you
Y'all
see
talk about this on another
Nobody dies
podcast.
in the MCU.
Did you see the body?
Yo, wait, hold
No
up.
body, no crime?
Right.
Nothing, sorry, Milo.
Quit it. Quit talking about spoilers in front of me.
Not my problem. The movie's been out for 2 weeks. Just go see a movie.
I did an online poll
Trying.
for that. It's 4 weeks was the agreed upon average.
Is it
4
4
weeks?
weeks?
4 weeks
Yeah,
before
they
you
can go
can
fuck
give
themselves.
spoilers.
They can go
Alright,
fuck
fair enough.
themselves.
Well, how long has it been out? 2?
2 weeks or so.
At least.
Yeah, I
You're
still.
panicking over there.
Yeah.
Look at you.
That's like my one thing. I'm like, dude,
Tweaking.
do not.
Everybody dies.
Don't worry about it.
Everybody dies.
Yeah. There's another snap. Everybody dies.
Snap, dust,
Of
die.
course.
They'll get
Don't worry
dusted.
about it.
Yeah, 4 weeks, my ass. You get 2 at best.
That was
Go see
Look,
a movie.
I'm seeing it this
Tomorrow?
soon.
Can't watch it tomorrow, okay?
You're not seeing it this weekend.
No.
This weekend's over.
Soon.
It's soon.
I
When
think
will that be
next
now?
I was just going to say, when is
Bastard.
Soon.
Never show this again.
never. Go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
I don't know, but I'm
So-
seeing it eventually.
Oh, goody. I'm going to spoil the crap out of it between now and then.
Better not.
All right, back to... Better not, my ass. Back to Moon Knight. So what... We talked about some of the stuff we liked about it. What did we not like about it? And let's talk about the series as a whole as well. So we talk about the episode, but let's talk about the overarching of the whole series.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Nice talking to you. Thanks for showing up.
5 mics for Mila. Good.
I give them full marks for jam packing the 42 minutes.
Yes.
In the last
They
episode.
absolutely crushed that.
All we did was shit on them last time for like you had 42 minutes.
How do you do this in 42 minutes?
I mean, but
Yeah.
it was like moving every freaking minute of it.
Yes.
I'm not,
Every
look,
single episode had stuff.
All right.
I'm not 100% happy with the full episode, but I'm impressed that they
But
did
you're
a
not,
pretty
right,
good job.
but what you're not
Yeah.
happy with is, which I agree with, is you gave me no backstory with Harrow. Like, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't give me really enough of that.
Yeah.
If we got an extra, like, even like
One episode.
5
Like
minutes-
literally a blurb. A blurb.
Listen,
Yeah.
an extra 5 minutes on this episode and
Yeah.
explain that he could have had a quick little dialogue of, when I first found this. Oh, you found
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Or
Yeah.
in the first episode, do a 2-minute cutscene of him
little
like
flashback.
Or like-
breaking. flashback.
Yeah.
breaking
Put him
into.
in a
That would have been a nice place for a flashback.
Have him be in a pyramid. He finds it and he's like, "Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
something. Just give me something."
a quick
Maybe a
Yeah.
water table,
Or
a
like
water
the-
tub.
I don't need
like-
much.
A water tub pyramid.
A water tub pyramid.
Maybe like a water tank. Maybe we could call it like a booma bacta, like a bacta tank or something.
I love how you always call back to that and how much I shit on the flashbacks, but none of you absolutely liked any of the episodes. You all jumped on my side, so yeah, there's that.
That's why we're just backing you up again, Larry. Not even close.
Yeah,
So-
I would have liked at least a
little
tiny
more.
blurb of like. No, I don't even care about how deep he was a character. Just literally
in
like
the comics, he's not really that big of a character.
Yeah,
He's
Right.
like
he's
a
kind
couple
a one-off
of like
character they made into an
sentences I
entire
could have
season.
used,
Yeah.
and I could have
You know?
gone like, "Oh, okay, got it,
Yeah.
squared away."
He's
Continue.
not that big of a character with a lot of backstory.
I think it was a good choice though to choose something like that because then you can
Yeah.
kill him and you're done, right? You
Yeah.
can make
Yeah.
a full
Right, because
season.
a lot
Makes
of
it
people
much
complain.
easier to do a
He's
season
done.
2.
It's
You
clean.
know,
A lot of people complain and especially in Marvel, but in a lot of superhero movies, like the villain gets killed off at the end. Like that doesn't happen in comics, right? Like they never really die. Joker's been killed like 500 times. But he's
Yeah.
always back again. You know what I mean? So in these movies, they kill him off.
Well, you
even
got
as far
to give him
back
a
as
payoff.
89,
You
like,
got to give him a payoff.
Yeah.
Nobody likes going to the movie, and then like the villain gets away, and you're like,
Not necessarily get away, but I mean, Batman's whole thing is they keep going to Arkham. And granted, that gets a little shitty. Like, how many times you gotta keep letting them out? How many times do I gotta keep putting them?
Kill one dude. Just kill one dude.
Stop
Shake it up
letting
a little
them out.
bit.
Stop letting them escape. But there is that. It's kind of like you do lose a little hope. Like Thanos, I get. We had a lot of Thanos, so like, okay, I'm okay with him being gone. But like the one-off villains, like, oh, okay, we get. So we basically killed Mysterio.
Yeah.
So we'll never get a Mysterio.
Yeah, I was kind of
like,
knowing that
who
Mysterio's
cares?
so big in the comics. I was like,
he's a pretty good character. He's been around for a long time.
I know.
Yeah,
I know,
but, like,
he's had some
wasn't he
pretty
part of the
interesting
Six?
stories.
Yeah,
too.
he's part of the
Yeah.
Sinister Six. It would be nice to see him again as part of the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of did it, right? In the Spider-Man No Way Home, it was almost a Sinister Seven. Like, they had a lot of villains in that one. So, yeah, they kind of hit it, but they'll do it again.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring in Kraven.
Like,
and
you
all
got the
other ones.
multiverse now. You can bring in different universes
We got Mysterio
of the same
too.
guy. Yeah, exactly right.
Whoa, there's another
Yeah, but
one.
they're going to kill him off like they did in the Doctor Strange. He's an asshole.
It's personal this time.
Oh, poor John Krasinski. And anyway,
Oh, you have to wait to watch it, Milo.
Y'all need to cut it out. Change that topic.
really.
The weather's been kind of warm lately, huh?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Do you see that bee I killed? Anyway, so she didn't see it coming.
awesome.
She didn't see it coming.
No.
I got it right upside his head. He did. So anyway, so what are our hopes for the future of this series? We want to see him in a movie. Do you want to see him in?
I've heard rumors of him being in like a different series of like
Hey, we're talking about he might show up in She-Hulk. He might show up in Here, There, the Other, where with all these different series coming out. Who knows where they could put him into?
Honestly, I don't think I would want to see him in a movie. I don't think there's much to be gained by that. What kind of a character is he? He's a Black Widow, which is martial artist, right?
Yes.
That's essentially.
I don't necessarily want to see his own movie, but I want to see him in a group movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a group movie. So, like, for example, like when you had, the whole beginning of the MCU, and they had at the end they were doing group movies, right? Mm-hmm. So it was always like Hulk was smashing things. Hawkeye was just firing arrows at people, right? And you're like, how are they contributing? Those, like, you could get a million guys with fucking bows and just shoot, and you're like, this is stupid, right? Like, my God,
but they gave Hawkeye his own show.
He's a superhero because he could fire a goddamn arrow, right? There was an SNL.
Really, really good,
Did you see the SNL take on it where they were like?
Yeah.
There was like a bunch of superheroes, the same guys, same show in the fighting the monsters in New York, and they were coming down, and Tony Stark comes down, he lands, he goes, all right, Hawkeye, I got him right where we want him. All you gotta do is fire one arrow through the thing, and you'll kill everybody. And Hawkeye's like, well, I'm out of arrows. And they're like, what do you mean you're out of arrows? He's like, well, I've only got like a room for like 11 or 12 arrows in there. Like, what? I can't. Maybe if I really stick them together, they can be 15. But that's about it. And he's like, can't you just grab an arrow off the ground or something? Or, so they basically made fun of the fact that he's a fucking archer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, so like,
but he's a really good archer.
yeah, but the same thing goes for for Black Widow. Like, she's a martial artist essentially, right? She doesn't have any special powers.
Yeah, but she's like super spy.
I get it, but
Yeah, she got guns
do we
in
need
her teeth.
another?
Although in one of those
do we need
Avenger
another
group,
martial artist?
they're like out of like thousands and thousands of aliens. She's like, I took down one.
I took down 5 of them.
Like I got 6
So
down.
that's my thing.
She's a ground fighter.
Moon Knight is an interesting character because of all of the stuff that happens around him. Not his fighting. To me, his fighting is kind of like meh. It's martial arts.
It feels
You
very
see so much of
secondary
it.
to his character.
Right,
you know?
right.
It's
His
cool.
secondary-
It's so awesome when he fights, but it doesn't. You're right. Like it doesn't feel like that's the show.
The show is his story. The show is his psychosis. The show is the interaction between Stephen and Mark and this Jake Lockley, and the interaction between Khonshu and the gods.
yeah.
Yeah, and when you do a full-on
That's
movie, you
the
don't have
show.
a lot of time, especially if it's a group movie. You don't
I
have
agree.
a ton
I agree.
of time to delve into that, but we've already seen it. Now we've seen it.
I guess if you
wanna
wanted
see a
to have a
series on
show, you have a movie, and you
Yeah.
just need filler characters, you can throw them in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll add to a movie much.
I'd be more comfortable seeing him in like those rumored like group shows.
Yeah.
I'd be a lot more interested in seeing that because then you can have a lot more time for like one-on-one conversations with other people, and just kind of like
I'd rather
stuff
see
like
a
that.
season 2 and 3
Yeah.
of his character.
Larry, you're
Stuff
uncharacteristically
he does.
quiet over there.
Thoughts?
Well, it's just you can do a movie. So I'm sorry, and I'm stumbling here. I see where you're going at, Bruno, because you're right. Like, there's not too much that you can do with him in a full length movie.
In a fight,
really. It's like all right. But on the other side of that, as far as the group movies, you can do them on, and because from what I've seen though, is they want to delve into the magic aspects, like the demons and stuff like that. So that's why you're gonna get Black Knight. That's why you're gonna get Blade. So they want to kind of go into that area of the MCU. So that's where he comes into play.
They spend a lot of time on the tech stuff, the science stuff, with Tony Stark.
Right.
And now they're doing a lot of the spatial, the space, the galaxy.
magic.
And magic, right? They're doing more of the
like space,
stuff,
like aliens and stuff like that.
And they're doing magic. And then they're going to get into that kind of stuff.
And gods and celestial planes now.
I guess all I'm saying is it would be interesting to have. You could throw him in a group movie. I don't know that he's going to contribute much. And the reason I say that is because he's a fighter. He's a melee fighter. He gets in there with his hands and he throws some stuff, but mostly it's handwork. And so but what makes Iron Man so interesting? Well, he's a genius. He's a billionaire. And he's got awesome tech. And the tech can do whatever the fuck you want it to do. Right? It's a movie.
Yeah.
Why are some of the other superheroes interesting? Because they've got powers that they can have an effect en masse, where they can destroy thousands of bad
Captain
guys.
Marvel and stuff like that.
Like Captain Marvel. Whereas Moon Knight and Hawkeye and Black Widow and all those characters that are basically melee fighters, they just sit there, they take out one guy here, they take out one guy there. What's interesting to me about Moon Knight is his character development. So that's why I'd rather see season 2. If you have put him in a big movie, you're going to see 10 minutes of him on screen fighting mostly. You're not going to see that personality.
Would you see a Daredevil movie?
No.
Probably not. Sucked.
I thought Daredevil was not good.
Okay, well, wait a minute.
Well, the Charlie Cox version is really good,
yes.
right?
Did you?
Daredevil movie.
I've seen
Did you
the
see the
TV show,
Netflix
they're going to
ones?
do more of it, but I don't necessarily see a movie of him.
Yeah, I would love to see more Daredevil,
we know.
Episode.
That's your
chill.
I
Chill.
didn't
I didn't even get my
Daredevil.
words out.
Hey,
oh
welcome
my
to our world.
Lord.
So, I want to see him in other shows or a movie.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at, but I think separate from, let's say, Hawkeye or even Daredevil, he has magical powers because his powers are derived from the god that he's the Avatar.
Right.
And
it's supernatural.
At the end of the day, it can be limitless. Like, we didn't see to the last episode that he can fly.
Yeah.
He flew.
Oh, yeah,
across.
yeah,
Like,
he
he used the
was-
cape to fly.
Yeah, 'cause
he was like, how do I get
What
these? He's like,
else
don't
can
forget.
Khonshu give him as a power
Theoretically,
to deal with
anything,
stuff. Like,
right?
he could, he could phase in and out like Vision. He could. There's all kinds of stuff. Like, and I'm sure there's stuff that's in the comics that I don't even know about. But we don't always stick to the
then,
comics.
give me a
Deus Ex
season
Machina
2 where
kind
they
of thing.
develop that.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to see
yeah.
him in a group movie.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just right now, if you were to throw in a group movie, all I know about him is his melee skills. All I know is that he can get into hand-to-hand.
Yeah. And can fly, I guess.
I guess he can fly. Right. So give me a little bit more and then throw him in. I'm happy.
Yeah. But I mean,
At least
I get what
another
you're saying.
season
I get what you're
before
saying,
you
but
start
I like
doing
this
stuff.
character better than, let's say, Hawkeye as a character.
Sure.
Yes.
Multidimensional.
So
like,
let's
literally.
say you take the Avengers movie where Hawkeye was in it. For me, whether he was in it or not, it doesn't really change the effect of the movie. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But if you had that kind of a movie with Moon Knight, I'd be more excited that
Sure.
he's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's still going to do about as much as Hawkeye did.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more because he's got some magical powers.
Yeah.
But essentially, he's not going to be Thor. He's not going to be
He's not
Iron
shooting
Man.
lasers out of his fingers,
He's
you know?
Not, you know what I mean? But even Captain America is a ground fighter.
Yeah.
He's a ground level
but
fighter.
he's got
The thing is,
got
he
the
can
shield
take
and-
out a few more
I mean, he
because
doesn't
of the
have arrows,
shield
but he got a shield
that he can
use
like
a
throw
magical
and like
frisbee
I don't know
and
if
he
he
can
can
come back.
You're totally right that the reason they included him was because he was a classic from
He's
the
Captain
beginning.
America, but
He's Captain America as a leader of the whole group,
Right,
right?
he's part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
So you gotta
and
have
with the shield, he can throw it, and I
His
guess that
magical
can get
frisbee.
more guys.
magical frisbee.
Which Ultron points out. With metal, you freaking people make a frisbee out of it. To work. So yeah, that's why I would like to see him used more, and we could definitely develop more of his powers, and is like it's kind of that Superman aspect of like, oh, he's got this power now. We didn't know that. All of a sudden, he can throw a cellophane shield off his chest.
Yeah, right.
For no fucking reason. Like, what was that in the comics?
To imprison people.
He can circle the earth and turn time backwards. What? When did that happen?
Yeah.
But again, you don't want to give him too much because then it's like, all right, well, now you have too much power and now we just can't stop
It
you.
gets
Now
hokey.
it just sucks.
It gets hokey. He's
Like
unstoppable.
then you could just use the cape as like a Deus Ex Machina and just have it do
always
like
there.
whatever it needs to do
And he's unstoppable.
to save like the situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know?
like Captain
Like-
Marvel's not overpowered.
Captain Marvel,
Well, the thing
Literally
is,
survive anything and fly,
But yet still
fly
Thanos
through
still, like,
ships.
pushes
straight
down.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanos still slapped her down.
I mean,
it's kind of
If you're going to make an
Alien
all-powerful
power.
character, at
I
least
said
keep
it
it
before.
consistent,
It's
you know?
really, really hard to write stories with invincible characters.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
Superman
it
and
is
Captain
really hard.
Marvel, because they can take care of the whole problem themselves. For the most
Yes,
part.
well, and that was the kind of thing with Scarlet Witch in Avengers, like
Yeah.
in the last one with she could have taken down Thanos herself,
Right.
And he rained fire down, but she could have ended him a lot sooner than that.
Yeah.
She could, but and if her full on Darkhold powers had not been, she wasn't full on Scarlet
Right.
Witch.
Yeah.
But even the power she had at that time, she would have just popped him apart.
Yeah.
Which is, and that's part of the writing that gets you. Because in that whole Infinity Saga, those last two movies could have ended 17 different ways.
Right, but
way before the blip.
Yeah, but
Right.
here's the thing, though. You end it, and then the blip doesn't happen, and then you don't have the payoff.
I know.
Right?
It's
So,
about
you have to
decisions.
stretch it out. You
That
have
was
to
part of
stretch
the
it
whole
out.
concept, though, behind there. It was about decisions you make, right? And so she made a bad decision not to do something early on.
Yeah, but it started with Doctor Strange back on Titan.
Yeah.
He
Giving him
just he just did a portal around his arm and pull his arm and snap his arm off.
Right?
He would have just portaled his hand and closed the portal and cut his arm off.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can't snap anything with your arm detached from
Yeah.
your fucking body.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been
That
awesome.
would have solved the problem right
Yeah,
there.
why did they have to
worry,
pull it off?
Right?
his
It's
hand?
like,
Trying to
we gotta
this
pull it
guy
off
with
manually.
Mantis on top, trying to make
Instead
him
of
go to sleep.
using a billion
Just
different
portal around
magic
his arm
things
and
you
snap
got.
it before he can
You
snap
do
his
that,
finger.
yeah, but you do that right at the beginning. Kind of,
Movie's over.
Movie's over. It's,
Yeah, but-
it's
Yeah. Drop the bomb, right?
But
Roll
that's the point.
credits.
It's hard, like you said.
Yeah.
It's hard to write because that would have happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that you would have
But-
made that decision.
And I've talked about this too.
And like that, what they
as
would
a
end the
writer,
movie.
you have to write the character making decisions that are stupid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the story doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the readers got to say, no, do it this way, or no, tell them about the danger. You got 10 seconds right now. Just tell them.
Yeah.
And they
the
don't,
lost scenario.
for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
and you say like, "What are you doing, you asshole?" I'm not gonna
and
sit
then,
and read
and then the whole
50
story,
pages.
the whole story happens.
Son of a bitch! I gotta watch the rest of this movie now because you could have just snapped his arm off.
Yeah.
Damn.
You putz. You know I got things to do. I sit through another 2 hours of this bullshit.
But that's what makes the story. I mean, as long as you're entertained by the story, that's a good story.
And that's really
Yeah.
all I ever want when I go and see
And I
these
was
movies.
entertained by
Like,
those
just
Exactly.
entertain me. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Definitely entertained by
when,
movies.
when
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, that didn't make sense to somebody," I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. This is a superhero movie. None of this shit's real in the first place."
I know.
That's like when people talk bad about like those Godzilla movies, like the Godzilla King of Monsters thing. They're like the critics are like the human interactions are like crap, and you're like, the big monster fight the other big monster. That's kind of why I watched
why
the
I came
movie.
here.
I'm not looking for human interaction.
Yes, I saw.
Who
Benjamin
cares about the
Button. I
story or
saw,
how they got there?
Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
I saw all that. I saw The Godfather.
Yeah.
I saw human interaction.
Right.
You know
I
what
wanna
they didn't
see something
have?
else.
Big fucking monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
When he
now.
goes a big roar,
So now I go see big monsters.
shoots
Right.
laser into the
I
sky.
want people talking to each other in meaningful ways. I go see something else.
Yeah, I mean, we
I
we
came
watched
here for big
look,
monsters fighting.
We watched Moon Knight every week for the same exact reason, right? It was entertaining. We wanted to see where this roller coaster was going to take us. You know, it's like, who's speaking
One hell
now?
of a roller
Who's taking
coaster.
over? Like, oh my god! Like, it's like, oh, by the way, did you get enough Moon Knight in this episode?
Almost.
Yes.
Almost, right? It was
Almost.
like I thought about that, like. When I was listening to our review on the last one, I was like, "Oh my God, they're right! Like we haven't seen much of
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more
a little
Moon Knight.
bit here
This
and
one,
there.
but yeah.
This one, I was like, "So much again."
Yeah.
42 minutes,
Yeah.
which I feel like they did a great job.
Major
with.
kudos. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they gave us.
I'm going to
beginning
walk back my
end.
criticism. In 42 minutes, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
That's
I thought
42
so,
minutes
too.
with
Damn.
credits.
With credits.
Yeah.
And the final scene. Right?
Yeah,
final
and it wasn't
thing.
an absolutely useless end scene, like end credit scene. It was a good end credit
And
scene.
again, the only
Yeah.
critique I have is that it does not tie, and they meant it on purpose. It doesn't tie to the rest of the MCU at all. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing really to tie us. To the rest
I
of
know that's.
Yeah.
I was
There's no,
kind of
like, all right,
waiting.
you know what I mean, there's no okay. Where's he going to show up next? Or Valentina shows up to hire.
Take your time.
Mark.
Harrow.
No, Harrow.
Harrow.
He's the bad guy to hire Harrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So I thought the final scene was going to be that.
Him out.
I didn't before we saw his face and we knew it was Jake that was
Yeah.
taking him. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be someone in
I
the
thought it was
MCU
Valentina or somebody wanted
taking
her.
him. Yeah,
I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be Jake. I was like, oh my God, is this going to be it? No, wait. Actually, I had no idea. My bad.
Wait a minute,
No.
that wasn't even me.
I
Hold on.
I take it back.
Edit that
I
out,
take it
or-
back.
You want me to
Wait.
edit that
So it's
out?
like when he's putting him in the car, right? And the door opens. I don't know if you saw. Like I'm like trying to like see the reflection. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Like,
see
I'm
it
trying
well
to
enough with
stare
the
it.
Scully cap on. Like,
Yeah.
you can definitely
I like
tell.
when he
Yeah.
kicked the wheelchair away.
Oh, that was great.
But
I mean,
nice
it's-
touch.
You're
Yeah,
not
nice
going to
touch.
need just a couple
Nah,
minutes. Hold on.
Don't worry about this.
You're not going to need this.
I-
He's like,
mean-
fuck you.
The way that they played that out is great, and it's kind of like, well, where do they go from here?
No.
I think it's going to be an internal struggle with them themselves. That's how
Yeah.
they're going to obviously
Yeah.
introduce like another villain, but they're going to have another like serious
It's funny that the villain's
internal
like,
struggle.
Okay, so
No.
how do you feel about that? I have mixed emotions.
What do you mean? About what?
Because
What?
now we're going to have the internal struggle with Mark and Steven, and now
Jake.
with Jake.
I
And
think,
then,
like, they
I
don't-
think it could be
I
interesting.
think it's going to be fascinating.
I hope they don't focus on it too much.
yeah, because we spent
Yeah.
6 episodes, that's
Yeah.
all we focused on.
Yeah.
Like, we
It
have
was
to have
that
an
internal
outside
with
struggle
them.
as well. There
So
has
have
to
the
be something
second
else that's
season be
coming.
like all about the struggle now with Jake. It's like, oh, come on. I need something else. I get the DID. I get the disorder, but
Yeah,
like,
but that's
I need
kind of
more
who
than just
Moon Knight
focus on
is.
that.
It's about the disorder.
Yeah, but I don't think every comic ever focused on that the whole time.
No, but it was
they
part
would
of it.
eventually just be working together, and you knew you were working with 3 different people, and they all had their strong points. So when they needed this person, that person would go do something. But it
Yeah.
wasn't the constant struggle. But
yeah, but I
the
think
difference-
reality is that it always is a constant struggle
No,
for
I get
real
that,
people
but
in
at
real
the end
life.
of the day, this isn't reality. It's a comic book show. We don't know how many seasons we're going to get.
Well, I'm sorry that his disorder bothers you.
It
Mike.
bothers me. It bothers me. He needs to pull his shit together.
Oh my god!
Pull your shit together and pick a road here or there, sunshine. Pick a
Pick a
personality.
plot line.
That was it. Pick a personality and cut it out. And tell the other two to bugger off. But the point is, like, how many seasons are we going to get? How many times are we going to see this character? It's the same thing with the Joker, right? Every Batman movie has to have some or semblance of a Joker in it, even if it's just for a minute.
Yeah.
How much of this are we going to get? I want to get other stuff. You know what I mean?
I
wanna
think
get
there will be.
more.
I think there's going to be like also another outside struggle. I don't think it's just going to be
There will be
like
outside,
Jake
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
There's
there's gonna be
definitely going to be
different
something
villains,
else.
something else to deal
so
with.
then it's like then it's going to be multiple things we're going to have to deal with. You know,
Right. I think if you
So
look
it's not
at it
going to
overarch,
be the
though, if you look at
whole
this season,
focus.
it was 70% him dealing with the disorder.
Yeah, but look,
Struggle. So
Well-
I don't
when
want
you
take the next season, give me 30, 40%. Don't jack it all the way up to
You
50,
could.
70% again.
Yeah.
Just because we have Jake
I mean,
now.
yeah,
No.
like
You got to give me some. You can't
I'm saying as long as they do
introduce
it well,
Jake and have none of
you
it.
know.
I don't think it's going to be 70%, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 40 or 50. I mean, when you
Yeah.
watch Batman, it's all about him being emo and his dead parents.
I
When,
know,
when you watch
every
Yeah.
when you watch
You-
Superman,
yeah,
it's
you
all
can't
about
have Batman
kryptonite.
with him being
Every
emo.
effing time.
No, but that's the way that character is. That's who that character is. You can't take
Yeah,
that
but
away
not
from
every,
them.
But not every comic book has that. Not every comic book is him.
We just got
bitching.
introduced to this character, though.
No, yeah, I know, and we got it, and so like I'm saying, I'm not saying in season 2 ignore it completely,
Yeah.
but we don't know how many seasons we're going to get, and I don't want every
don't know how many
season to spend
episodes
70-80% of
per
it
Yeah.
just dealing with
They're
this.
gonna go, this is going to be
I
four
think the
this
key-
time.
It's a bit much.
I
It's a
think
bit
your
much.
satisfaction, I'm guessing here, but I think your satisfaction with season 2, if they have a season 2, will hinge upon whether the big bad guy that they write for that is good.
Yeah,
right?
he's good
If
and
he's
it's a
good,
bigger, you know.
and it's a realistic scenario that like makes kind of sense and it flows well, then I think you could swallow a little bit more of the struggle because
Yeah.
the rest of it is really good
Absolutely.
and it's just moving the
That's
story
all.
along. But if the big bad guy's bad and they're terrible, this is not written well, then I think it'll be really
And
tiresome.
in this season, I'm not saying I wanted less
Yeah.
of what they did with that.
Yeah.
I'm
No, I hear you.
perfectly happy with
Yeah.
the amount they did.
Oh,
we
yeah.
needed it
Yeah.
to understand the character, but just don't rehash it again in
Right.
season 2.
Yeah.
when we
Don't
may not
give me
get
the
a
same
season 3.
struggles.
Yeah, I don't want the
Yeah.
same story over again.
And I think that's I was just going to kind of piggyback and say that it's you don't want to see that again. We want to see basically more Moon Knight in the Moon Knight series. Like,
Right.
okay, we understood that,
And
he
we
had to-
probably
he
will
had to
because
fight it,
Jake
right.
is more vicious and he's more
Yeah.
he's like Khonshu's like real Avatar now. He's like, I got
Yeah.
my kick-ass Avatar.
Yeah.
So now we can go really fuck shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we'll get more of that, and we'll have to have some of the struggle between Mark and Jake.
It's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
basically
Steven,
turn
but it's
into
okay.
like Khonshu's gonna be just gonna turn into an asshole.
Turn
kind of
into?
is.
Well, no,
I know.
it-
We're
no.
talking about
Or,
that.
or
He's kind of
maybe
a
he's
douche.
just
That's my
being
question.
revealed as
Why is
like a
he
deep-seated
such-
asshole.
Why is he such a d-bag? Like when he was trying to, maybe he wasn't really trying to, but he looked like he was trying to convince Layla. He called her a little bug, like in sort of a derogatory way. Like why, if you're trying to be like, be our avatar, you little bug. You know, like why would you say that? Why would
Well, I
you
think that was-
constantly? He called what's his name? He called Steven a little worm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like why? Why? You want these guys to work for you.
I think-
psychology on them, or you're just
I feel like it's because he really does just want what he wants.
Yeah, he wants
and
the vengeance.
If Mark is the only person that can, like, at the moment, it was Mark is the only person who's capable of this, right? But now that, like, Mark and Steven are friends, you know, now he's like, okay, now none of them are worth it. Like, there's, like, if they're not going to fight for me, then what's the point?
Do it the way he wants.
But so I feel like he's always been just like this D-bag, you know?
Yeah.
He probably knew Jake
But
was in there.
he's just had to be patient with Mark and stuff like that. And then he's
And
like,
Steven.
okay,
He's had a patient with
and then
both.
he's
Right,
like,
just kidding.
okay, I guess
Great, the
Steven's
idiot's
jumping on the
back.
train, you know? And then he's like, all right, now I got to be patient with Mark and Steven. And then when they're like out, then it's like, all right, all bets are off. I don't care about you guys anymore. I just need Jake, you know?
Right.
So then who cares about Mark and Steven?
So I think that what we're going to see in season 2 is in order for him to have Jake, which is, you know, the one he wants, clearly the other two have to be a part of that, but he's probably going to hold something over them. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is what I got. So I want him. This is how it's going to turn out. I'll let you live your lives, but you can't shut him up because clearly
when I need him, I need
when
him.
I need him, I need him more. I want him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this would be something
He's
that
agreed to do this.
Right.
I need him on call. Get a beeper. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Do some shit.
Get one of the
I need
message pagers.
A
Yeah.
beeper.
Beeper. You know what that is?
What?
A beeper.
I know what beeper is, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just asking.
Just
Do you know what a rotary phone is?
Oh, what's a rotary phone?
Oh my god. Six
so it's-
numbers,
so it's
six
like-
numbers in, you fuck it up. You
Damn
start over
it.
again. Damn it! Start
Hang
over
up,
again.
Start over.
Four. Son of a bitch.
So I think that's probably what season 2 is going to be. That's going to be part of it. So we are going to see some internal battle. We are going to see that whole, you know, back and forth between Steven and Jake and Mark, and maybe hopefully not, you know, too much, because again, I want to watch Moon Knight and the Moon Knight series.
Okay,
right?
so question.
yeah.
What happens if they don't do a season 2?
I'm out.
Are you happy? Are
I'm
you
done.
pissed?
No, I'm gonna be. I'm
I-
actually.
you know, you can't-
I think
how
I'm
can
going to
you
be pissed because I
Yeah.
actually think this is a really
I'd be
good
disappointed.
I
show.
want more.
Because
I'd be
yeah,
disappointed.
exactly. It's like I want more from this show. The other ones, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
like I
like-
can.
Do you feel like
I
you
can
tied
live
it
without
up
another
enough that we don't need necessarily need a season 2?
one. No,
No, I don't think
they
we
opened it up too
need-
much. They opened it up too much.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You think there's a lot of loose ends?
Not that there's a lot of loose ends, but the fact that they ended it like that, you know, like with that
They
end
sent
credit
me-
scene,
yeah.
I'm like,
I don't think there's
come
a lot
on.
of loose ends. I think
There's no
you have
loose ends.
Jake.
I just
You have Jake, and you
They did
kinda
too much-
whether
too
they
big of a
show me-
setup.
But whether they show me what Jake does or not, you kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like Jake's gonna go. He's gonna be.
You
his
know
avatar, he's
exactly
gonna
where this
be
is going.
vengeance,
Yeah.
He's gonna kick some
So-
ass, and
Yeah.
day is done.
Yeah.
Would I'd love to see it, but I don't need to see it. I kind of could fill in the blanks
Yeah.
myself. They didn't
Yeah.
really leave it on a cliffhanger.
There aren't any big mysteries
What's going to
hanging
happen
out
next?
there.
Yeah.
What's going to
Like,
happen?
oh.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly right. There's not a lot of like I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know. I get what's going to happen. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see how he gets so vicious.
Again, I love that they did that blackout again. And at the end, because when I
Yeah.
saw him down and he was being like drained or killed or whatever, I was like, "Fuck, what are they going to do now?" And also
Yeah.
just blacks out. I was like, "Yes!" You know,
Yeah.
you kind of like you're like, "Yeah." I mean, clearly Jake is a fucking badass.
yeah, because he got up from that.
Yeah.
See, that's if there's anything to watch a season 2 for, it's seeing him absolutely rip through people.
There's something
that
about
would
that
be a
unbridled
purpose, you know?
rage that you're just like,
because there's cool fighting, and then there's no mercy.
Yes.
No mercy fighting, and you're
Yes.
like, hey, yo, what is
Yeah.
this guy up
That's
to?
like literally when you black out and you're like, "I'm going to kill somebody right now," and there's
just a red
there's no
out.
bridle. You just go nuts.
Yeah.
That's what I'd watch season 2 for.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, they're going to do something with it. They're obviously just going to leave this character alone.
Right.
Yeah.
He's become too popular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reviews and everything on this show has been pretty well.
And you know,
Recorded
they
very
left
high.
Easter eggs everywhere. You know, they just fed the chickens. They had, you know,
Yeah.
they were like, listen, we're going to leave everything that if we want to, we're going to pick it up. You know, we're going to do a Scarlet Scarab. We'll throw her in something. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Again, introducing these secondary characters to us in a show that we actually like or a movie that we really like.
Yeah.
Now, if she shows up, if we see later, regardless if she's in a costume or not, we see her in another one of the MCUs, we're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's later.
I'm actually
That's a Scarlet Scarab.
thinking-
Let's see if they bring her.
Yeah.
You know, so I really like, and I'll always say this, I love that this is how Disney does it, how they're introducing us to the secondary characters. So when we do see them in another main title movie, we know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, by the time,
Right.
I mean, again, Moon Knight comes out didn't have a lot of fans. Maybe not a lot of people knew who Moon Knight was.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But if he comes out now with a movie or in another episode, people are going to watch this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's good how they're introducing these other characters because now
I just hope they keep the same writers because I think these guys, I mean, hats off.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
writer, director,
They
job.
absolutely.
the director and the writer have already
Yeah.
said that they'd be up for a season 2.
Great.
yeah, you almost have to.
And you know Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac is definitely down for season 2. He's
Of
already
course.
said that he'd
Oh,
love
yeah.
to do it more.
You know what?
He wants to do more Moon Knight in some one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's
I mean, he'd be
movies
crazy
or
not to.
shows or,
Crazy
yeah.
not to.
Oh my
He's
God,
really
yeah.
good at it.
He did an unbelievable job.
Yeah.
here. Like we talked earlier today, and
He needs 3
Yeah.
Oscars, 3
Like-
Emmys.
yeah, for
Three
each one of the
Emmys.
characters.
One for each of them.
He crushed this.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
regardless,
funny would that be if they actually did that? Just
That
for
would be
shits
pretty
and
funny.
That would be
Just
kind
gave
of
him
funny.
3 Emmys.
And they just named
Yeah.
all 3 names.
Yeah, best actor.
Stephen Grant,
Stephen
Jake
Grant.
Lockley,
Yeah.
Mark Spector.
Yeah. Listen, he played 3
just-
characters. We got to give him 3 Oscars. I don't know.
That'd be funny.
it was
That'd
so
be good.
so good.
We have a 3-way tie. Oscar Isaac.
Between.
Oh
Oscar
my
Isaac,
God.
and Oscar Isaac.
That'd be great. That'd be
Oh,
great.
Mitch, wouldn't that be funny though? When like they announce all the
Yeah.
nominees?
That-
Oscar
that would
Isaac
be
in
if they had
Moon
a
Knight.
sense of
Oscar
humor. I
Isaac's
feel like
in
they
Moon
don't.
Knight. And Oscar Isaac's in Moon Knight.
And you're like, what the?
What's
It would be
happening?
even better
What
though.
do you
if
got a
they-
goddamn stutter?
No, but
Shut me up
it would have
there.
been. It would actually be pretty funny though if like they pre-recorded that, and then when they mention the people's name, it shows them. If it was like him dressed in one outfit, and then they show it again, and he's in like a different
That would be
outfit,
good. In a different part of the
in a
theater.
different part of the
Yeah.
theater, like that would be so funny if they just
That would be awesome.
It's got like a
there's
fake
any
mustache
people-
and then, like
Yeah,
a
right.
hat or
Any people
something.
listening.
yeah, right.
He's like, we got Oscar Isaac. He puts up a fake mustache, and we got Oscar Isaac. He puts on a hat.
puts on a
He's Oscar
skull cap.
Isaac, and he takes them both off and goes, "Wow, oh my
That'd be
god,
awesome.
it's crazy."
That'd be really
That would be
cool.
good.
So overall,
Overall, I mean,
Overall.
it's strong. So okay, so now we've seen all of the shows. Everybody's seen all
Yes.
the shows.
Yep.
Give me a overall. Like, where do you put this in terms of the Marvel shows?
Steamy,
Top.
heated
Top,
garbage.
yeah,
Number
no,
one.
I put
Heap
this.
of garbage.
I put this on the top.
Absolutely.
What a waste of my
Absolutely.
time.
Oh my goddamn time.
This is one of the worst things that no.
Drag that rat out and shoot him.
Yeah, right. for me, this is the top one. Loki jumps in right behind that.
Yeah.
I see.
No, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
for
I
me, it
think
goes
this
this
was number
Loki
one,
and then
Loki.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I got Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye down the bottom.
Yeah,
Down the bottom.
No, for
I
me,
got-
yeah, that's how it is
this,
for me too.
I got this
I know
WandaVision,
why-
Loki, What If,
That
and then
I put Loki above WandaVision.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I put
didn't-
WandaVision
didn't really
above
dig
Loki.
WandaVision so
I
much.
loved WandaVision. I liked
Yeah.
how different it was.
It was definitely different.
Yeah,
I liked that.
it was a
Anything
good.
they've
It was a
done. Like,
good
Loki
way to
was
kick off the
interesting.
shows.
But it felt like a movie. It felt like something they could have done in movies and things like that. We've seen some of that before, and we've seen Loki a billion times.
Yeah, but I think the way Hiddleston portrayed him, and I like the development of, I like the character
Yeah,
progression.
and I liked
of
all the
Loki.
different Lokis. I thought that was really cool.
That was
the
cool.
different
The alligator
variants.
Loki.
Yeah. President Loki. It was really fun.
And I know why you didn't.
I have that pop figure by the alligator one. It's
I'm not
expensive now.
surprised.
It's expensive
I
now.
bet it is.
I know why you didn't like the Falcon and Winter Soldier because it's too much of a buddy cop. show.
We've seen it. We've seen a
right.
bunch of that. We saw them both putzing around in different movies together.
So-
I thought it was a great development. I think I loved, his transition into being Captain America. Yeah. The bullshit at the beginning kind of pissed me off. Where he's like, I didn't want to do it. It's really,
So-
Cap gave you the shield, you arrogant, selfish prick. Like, he gave you the shield. You're such a really, you're unappreciative asshole. Take the shield and go do with it. I get the motivation.
You have to. A successful, generally, right? The recipe is have the protagonist be not wanting that role, whatever role you're going to thrust
That's
him
the
into.
classic hero's
you start out, that's the
journey.
hero trope, right? So he doesn't want to be the hero. He
he's gotta be
rejects
the
it.
hero. I get
and
it.
then he becomes
Yeah.
the hero.
I get it.
But I
that
feel
doesn't
like
make it any less frustrating.
yes, I feel like in this instance,
I know that's the way they have to write it.
no, but in this instance, it didn't work, right? Because because Cap is beloved,
Yeah.
and so when he gives you the shield, and then in the show, in the movie,
how
when
disrespectful
he
to you.
gave it to him, he was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much, I'm so honored." Like, so you can't walk that back, and you can't.
And it's exactly
and
what
that's
they
what
did.
they
Yeah.
did. Right.
Exactly. As soon as
And I
Cap
think
was
that's
out
why
of the
you don't
picture,
like it. I don't
and Cap
blame you.
didn't have eyes on, he's like, "Nah, I don't want this shield.
Yeah.
I can't do this."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was frustrating.
And that didn't feel right.
He totally walked it back.
It didn't
So-
feel right.
Yeah.
So I liked that show because of everything else. Honestly, I've never liked Falcon as Captain America. Never, ever. I just always thought that it was so
I never really
stupid.
spent much time with him doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I was always excited that Bucky Barnes was going to be.
I stopped reading.
I was like, that's
about
what
when
I was
Bucky
like.
became Cap. I stopped
That's what I
reading.
was stoked about. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to give it to Bucky, and it's like he gave it to
yeah.
Sam. I was like, huh.
Yeah, so I've always been a Winter Soldier fan. Like I've really liked Winter Soldier. So when
Same.
I
Yeah.
thought that he was going to be, and I remember when he was Cap, for a little bit. So I thought that was the trajectory that they were going when they made it the Falcon, which we finally find out he's got the new suit. Whatever,
The suit
but it was
looked cool,
everything. The suit was cool. I liked everything.
I don't like the head part, like the neck thing.
You never liked the
yeah.
neck thing.
It's weird.
So
It's
the-
like,
yeah.
it's very,
I don't remember what it
That's
looked
Marcus
like.
Hill.
25 inch
Oh yeah, the cowl.
It's always a
The
cowl.
cowl. It's always the cowl or the colors.
Everything around that though.
We started on those damn colors.
Oh Jesus,
It's the wrong blue.
It's the wrong blue.
he got old.
His pigmentation's off.
Hey, it's what happens. I'd like to
Hello?
see you.
Hello?
I'd like to see you when you get old and gray. So everything.
Imagine you staying
everything-
blue. Come on.
I know, but everything else that was going on, how they had the new Captain America, which turned into U.S. Agent, like we saw, that was like, oh shit, like that little story arc was good. The Flag Smashers, shit, that whole crew, that was so. Everything else that was going on, was awesome, and that's what made me really like it. The back and forth buddy cop, whatever, dude. I that could
That's what took me out of the series.
yeah, and I absolutely get that. But there was enough there to keep me on. And again, I really liked Winter Soldier, and I really wanted to see him actually
he's
kind
a
of
character
finish
I don't
it.
really care about. I've never really cared
Winter
about
Soldier?
I've never really cared about the Winter Soldier.
I've never been into Winter
I was
Soldier that much
fascinated
either.
since
Never
the
been
first
into it.
time he showed up. I was like, oh my god, he
that's
got
why
the shield.
Like everybody loves that movie. It's not one of my favorites. I don't hate the movie, the Winter Soldier one, but I don't really care about it either.
Yeah.
Like it's like
I
I don't
could take it or leave it, too.
I can take it or leave it. It's not a bad movie. I
one of my
understand. I
tops.
totally understand.
Yeah.
And it's that way. You either love it or it's like, it's all right.
And
Nobody
again,
hates
I get
that
it.
movie.
Yeah.
Nobody ever comes across hates that movie, and neither do I. I just I
But-
don't go back and watch it.
Right.
I'd rather go back
because
and
of
watch
that-
Civil War. It's more fun.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and because of that, that's probably why
It's more superhero-y,
Like
it's more
for me, the Falcon Winter Soldier, that's right there for the top shows. Wanda, I completely understand where people put their places.
Yeah.
The what ifs. I don't give a shit about the what
Yeah,
ifs.
I thought that
I'm not a
was
fan of the
For
what
me,
ifs
the
either.
thing
I like
is,
the what ifs was a fun diversion.
I really liked the what ifs, but I actually don't really think of them on the list. Like I was like, oh yeah, they count.
Oh, it's on the list.
I mean,
It's on the list.
Like,
'cause
I
it kinda
think
is
it's really
little
cool,
one-off.
but it just never really. I don't know. I wouldn't even put it on the list, not because I
Not
don't like
every
it.
episode was
I'm
but
with you.
strong.
the thing is, since every
But overall,
episode's
I just-
different, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was cool,
Yeah.
and then I'm moving on.
I don't know. For me, some of the what ifs were like, I don't know. That's kind of stupid. Like
the
sure, you can do
zombies.
what ifs, but like,
I love zombies.
I want
Stay out of my zombie. No.
decades.
I know.
They've been doing
No,
the
I'm
West,
not-
I think the 70s at least.
I mean, you're not wrong. For me, I feel like if it's not in the story, then it feels like a secondary. It's like a
Well, it's
commentary.
exactly what it is.
Commentary on the story, right? Like,
No, the what ifs
it could
was
have gone
always
like
their
this.
way to make things happen they couldn't use in the main timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
and
The thing is, I'm fascinated by that. I
that
think
was the
that's a
reason
really
for
cool
it.
concept,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate the show exists.
Yeah.
But
Just-
they took the what
just
if
to
and
play
this
with that
to do
stuff.
that, but also to introduce the multiverse. Mm-hmm. So that a lot of them show
Yeah.
up in,
Although,
Doctor
well, they
Strange.
Right.
the multiverse was really kind of officially introduced in Loki, right? When they broke the timeline at the end.
Was it? They kind of hit on the multiverse.
Where they at the end of the finale of
Yeah.
Loki, they
Yeah.
essentially kicked
That's
off.
that whole
they kicked
thing
off
is-
the multiverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He Remains talks
And
about
you're
the
like,
multiverse.
uh-oh. Things are going wrong.
Right. And then Spider-Man.
Yes,
Spider-Man was like,
Spider-Man was
yeah,
probably
no,
the
there's
first
definitely a
one dealing
multiverse, and
with
we
it,
can
right?
react
Yeah.
to it.
which I liked. I liked that one.
Yeah,
That
me
way
too.
on.
Me too.
was
I mean,
awesome.
there's so much left to do on the whole multiverse stuff. And this, we'll see. Like I said, the only one regret I have with Moon Knight is we don't know how he ties in. We
You
got
know what,
no
though?
satisfactory, really kind of. They did the mid-credit scene. I would like to see a post-credit scene with how he ties into the multiverse or ties into the rest of the.
Would you
MCU.
be entirely upset if he's not?
Yes.
You will.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Because it's kind of like kicking the dog to the curb. Like, all these other characters are going to be in it some way,
Right.
and then just to leave him out and leave him dangling out there, like, oh, it was a great one-off, but we're never going to use him again.
Wait, who?
Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't somehow bring him into the MCU, and have him part of the story, during the multiverse stuff.
I think the beautiful part is that his story could stand on its own. Like he doesn't need to be.
No, it's totally.
Yeah. That's something I
Usually
really
secondary
appreciate,
characters need to get tied in because they won't support themselves, right? But his story, I think, is rich enough that you could do that.
Right,
Yeah.
but
you don't
even
have
you could just have his own thing.
I could see
going on.
5 seasons of Moon
No,
Knight.
but like
the way it's
even
written.
Natasha's sister.
Yeah, but
she
Yelena.
gets tied in.
I
she's
think that
fucking,
whole-
she's Echo. She's useless. I could care less about her.
Her sister's
But
not
she's-
Echo.
No,
Echo's
I was
that's the
no.
deaf girl.
Which is like
she's getting tied in.
Yeah,
but
which I don't know why.
Valentina comes to her.
yes, doesn't go to Echo. Goes to Natasha's sister.
Yeah, goes to Natasha's sister. Like she's getting like pulled in to that whole thing.
Natasha
Right.
should not have also had her own story. That
It was,
that
no,
was
I have no problem with
for
having
me.
a
That was
story.
a straight money grab. They were like,
I
"Oh,
don't mind having a
Let's
story. It was just
capitalize.
5 years too late.
I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't
To have
need
a
it.
full-on movie, somebody's almost like an
didn't need
origin
it.
movie.
Yeah.
Prior to her, after you've killed her off.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
very
kind
Wow,
of a
that's
weird
kinda
placement
weird.
of things.
And you knew she was going to survive because you know when she dies. Like,
Right, you know her future. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
yeah, but I
fucking
mean,
was kinda
but the reason for that though is I think that there was enough want of how did the Black Widow thing come to be? Like, how did she become?
I don't know.
So
Was there?
No, there
Was
really was. There's been a
Oh,
lot
yeah?
of push for it, but all I'm saying is they've been pushing it for it since the beginning, so it felt 5 years too late.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Like,
I mean,
we should have had this years ago.
like that should have been in the middle,
That should- yeah.
somewhere. Like
That
that's
should
where that
not
movie.
have
Because now
been
we
There was a couple
know.
right
movies
after she
before.
died.
There's a few movies before Infinity War.
Right, well,
it
that's-
should have been stuck
yeah.
in there
That's-
somewhere because it
that's what
takes
I'm saying.
place right before Infinity War. She
Right.
finishes, and I'm
that's-
off
but
to
that's-
go to Infinity War. Essentially,
Right, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That could have been that could have been a gap space for something before.
I think for me, it goes back to the fact that like Black Widow didn't need to be in Infinity War. Hawkeye didn't need to be in Infinity War. Like they were not super effective characters.
No,
in
but
that
you
whole
needed that. You
storyline.
needed somebody to sacrifice themselves to get the Soul Stone, and
Yeah.
you're not going to sacrifice one of the major characters,
Right.
right? Like Hulk's not going to go.
Yeah.
Thor obviously is going to kill himself off.
I get it.
You need a pawn essentially because that's what they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
they're ground fighters. They're pawns essentially.
And it also helps that they were right
Powers.
off the bat introduced as really close characters. Like
Yeah.
they were really close to each
So you have
other.
that whole
Yeah.
that whole dynamic of them.
So then you're like,
not wanting
well,
each other-
this makes
each other
it
kill
easy.
themselves. So yeah, that was their reason for being there. That was their sole reason for being there. So yeah, all right, excellent. There we go. So let's go around the room and give a overall rating on Moon. You want to do Moon Knight the series?
Yeah,
Yeah. 5.
5 from Mila.
That's a perfect score.
that's a perfect score.
Well, I think it's the best one so far. So
You can't go up. What if the next series? What if She-Hulk blows your mind?
yeah,
not
I'm
gonna happen.
I'm
Totally
really
not gonna
waiting
happen,
for She-Hulk
but-
to blow my mind.
She-Hulk's
I'm
kind of
so
one-dimensional,
stoked.
right? Like Hulk is one-dimensional.
Listen,
Yeah.
she is part of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
At some point, she was.
So I have one of the points. I'm going to give this one a 4.8.
I thought no, you can't.
Oh,
you said we were
4.5.
not allowed to do that.
4.5,
Or I'm going to give it a strong. I'm like,
what are we
The amount
doing?
of
Are we
times
doing
I've wanted to
halves
do
or
point
quarters?
something that isn't
Halves.
5.
We've been
Only
doing
halves,
halves.
sorry.
So
Yeah,
are we
no.
changing the rules here
No,
again?
no.
I would
17
love
times in
to
this
introduce
podcast?
point something else.
I'll point at you.
I'm pointing at you.
You know what, though?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Mila on this one. I'm going to give it a 5 because
Hell yeah.
I
Strong
liked it
5.
that much, and I don't think anything's ever going to be better.
Honestly,
I think the writing
that's
was
pretty much what I'm expecting.
The writing was excellent.
I want to give it a
His
5,
character
but
was interesting.
nothing in the world is perfect. And I know there was
Nothing
enough
in the world is perfect.
fact. There was,
I'm
there was
gonna give
enough
it
things.
I'm going to give it an honest 4.5, unlike Larry's 4.5. I'm going to give it an honest 4.5. Not because nothing is perfect. Because
Well,
there's other things I wanted
well,
in there,
that's
only
a.k.a.
the-
more Moon Knight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of
See, that's a reason.
minor mind... Thank you, Mila.
You cut me off before I could explain why I was going to.
You
You started it with nothing's
not-
perfect.
You were done.
But there was more to
Can't
it. Though.
start it like that.
Okay.
I quit.
All right. Our first quit on the podcast.
Man.
We'll see Larry next week. So...
Hit the
I'm
boom.
back, baby. So I'm gonna go 4.5 just because I wanted a little bit more Moon Knight. I wanted a little bit more explanation on Harrow and how he got his powers. But other than that, yeah, it was pretty well perfect. Just a couple things.
Yeah,
So.
See,
it was,
my 5 rating is not that it's perfect, but it's within that top 5%. Like I'm going to give
Yeah.
it a 5%.
You're giving that
Yeah.
effort,
right?
yeah.
That I think
That's how it is for
it's
me.
a little
yeah.
bit of a range in that 5. So I think it was incredibly well written.
so well done, man.
It was.
and well
Yeah.
acted, right? Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
have good writing with bad
Phenomenal.
acting.
So
They
good.
had
Yeah, but
the
that wasn't
trifecta
a rating on the episode. That was a rating on the series.
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that
Definitely.
thing just blew me away.
Absolutely.
It was awesome.
absolutely. All right, so just to finish up, and this is something I want to do on the podcast. So a couple things we're doing. We'll talk a little bit more after the show, Bruno, some of the stuff we're thinking about doing with the podcast. However, at the end of the shows, what I'd like to do is kind of do a and we don't have to do it even today, but just like a quick rant. Anything that is like you're watching right now, or is like a book you're reading or a TV show that you're watching that you want to talk about, or just say, hey, you know what, I'm watching this show. You really need to watch this.
Yeah. All right, I got something actually.
Like shows?
Yeah, anything.
Movies?
Anything. TV show, movie, a book, a video game. I don't give a shit. Something like that that's like really gets you want to
I
rant
have
about.
wanted to
What have
rant
I been watching?
about the Wheel of Time TV show.
Oh my God, you've been waiting for that. You've been
I fucking
itching for
hate
that.
it.
So don't watch Wheel of Time.
Oh, my God.
Now here, I've talked to somebody about this because I think you're not wrong, but I've talked
not
to different.
wrong.
No, I think you're. I think you're
I know what
spot
I was
on,
talking
correct. But what I've understood from people is if you've never
say
read
it.
the books,
Don't say it. No.
it's
Okay.
a decent show.
Nope.
If you read the books, it sucks eggs because it's nothing like the books.
Okay, so it's not like the books at all, which is extremely disappointing, right?
Yeah.
In fact, the author, Robert Jordan, who has now passed away, had very specific people first so that he wanted to cast. So he put a whole series of photos out, like this was years ago, so these actors aren't really acting anymore. But he was like, if I were to cast, these characters, this is who I would want. None of them seem to match. And then on top of that, let's pretend that the story is on its own without any books supporting it. It's still poorly written. From a writing perspective, it's poorly written. There are parts of the show that are exaggerated and expanded upon that don't move the plot along. They've only got 8 episodes in the first season, and none of it works. The magic system that they use. Fine, if you want to change it from the way it is in the books, that's fine. But it's not consistent within itself. And so
it breaks its own rules.
Breaks its own rules.
So that makes
Hate that shit.
That
Right.
totally makes the shit. I agree.
That's awful.
And then,
I hate that.
so there
Don't
are
get me
all
wrong, I had no
sorts of
plans on watching it anymore.
all
I
sorts of
watched the
stuff
first
like that.
episode.
I mean, watch it if you want to. Everybody's got their own opinion on it. There's some people who are like, oh, it's great. No matter what, it's always going to be great. Like, all right, that's fine. But we're really talking about real things here. And the books.
I'm having a real discussion. No, we're over fantasy.
Yeah, none of this. I don't know where you guys are at.
Keep it real, guys. Come on.
And anybody who says it's anywhere near the books or it's just another retelling of the same things and a different turning of the wheel, all that bullshit is just full of it. The author had really, really clear expectations.
Yeah, but you're going back to the book now. You're going back to the books.
I'm going back to the books. The author had very clear expectations of how he wanted the story, if it ever came to be on TV.
Yeah.
And it's not following the rules that he wanted.
It's not following the rules. It changed the magic system. They've literally changed the storyline to the core. So,
So it's basically just Wheel of Time in name only.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
We've heard about this book series. We haven't read them. We read the back jackets and we said we'll make a show.
Let me
I
give
think
you an
these are some
analogy.
characters.
Cliff Notes.
Everybody here, I want you to think of
Save me a
your
lot of book reports.
favorite book that you've loved for a long time. Like the favorite book that you read that you thought was just, wow, this is amazing. It's just so great. I love the story, everything about it, right?
Okay.
Hey, now we're going to
Not
make it. We're
Hustler,
going to bring it to TV. Now we're going to put it on TV. We're going to bring your
I like
characters
the
to life.
articles.
And then they bring it to life and they change everything about it. Maybe things
Ew.
you loved about it, maybe whatever. The story completely different. They emphasize different aspects of it. And are you thrilled about that? Or are you pissed about that? People, they're not doing fan service, right? So one of the things that Marvel does really, really well is that they stick to, for the most part, the books or the comics. They brought Captain America to life the way you remember him.
Yeah.
They brought all the major characters to life, at least the first iteration.
They also do a
how
great
you
job on
remember.
fan service as
And
well.
they do a great
They
job.
pay
Oh, yeah.
attention
Oh,
to
yeah.
So what has that done? That has paid off in spades, right? Because
Billions and billions of dollars with the payoff.
yes, because we go to see it, we're like, that was awesome, and then we tell our friends, and our friends go to see it who've never been into comics, and they're like, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
and
they
it gets
that's one thing
bigger
Marvel
and
is
bigger.
credited for doing is that the movies are for everybody.
Yeah,
Whether you're
yeah.
a
And
longtime
we talked
fan,
about
a
this a couple weeks
casual
ago.
fan,
Yeah, but you
just
have
like
to
a good action
Exactly.
movie.
Right, whereas the showrunner here is basically saying, he's come out and said essentially, we don't really care about the fans per se, we're just trying to make a story that appeals to it's a very
Ooh, bro.
To nobody, to just themselves.
it's got I don't want to go into why or where because I don't disagree with some of the stuff, but it's just it's just not appealing at all to the fans. And the fans are what will put you on the map. The fans are the ones that gave you the ability to be able to make the show because they said, we want this show.
Yeah, and that's
and
where
if
you're going to make your money.
Them, I think that's
over and over again is rewatching, and the fans are the ones who are going to rewatch it if you make it good. If
it's
you don't,
inconsiderate. Yeah.
You know, my wife will sit down reluctantly and watch Infinity War. She's not going to watch it over and over again. I will, but she'll watch it, and she's like, yeah, it was a good movie. She liked it. You know what I mean? But she won't rewatch it.
She's not going to rewatch it, right?
I will because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
No, but like take for example the first.
Over and you held to the story.
They essentially launched the MCU with Iron Man.
Yep.
Imagine they had brought Iron Man to life, and Tony Stark was a cab driver without any money, and he was not so smart. He was just he kind of stumbled upon. You're like, that's not how this story goes.
Right.
That's not how this works. That's not the way it was. I don't remember him that way. This is not the story. Yeah, he finds a suit in a junkyard, and he fixes it up, and all of a sudden, whatever. Like, that's not the story. So, as a person who grew up with that, like, you want to see that story. So that's my rant on Wheel of Time.
So speaking of that,
disappointed, extremely disappointed.
So speaking of that, to the side, Spider-Man. So the newest, the Tom Holland Spider-Man. It's not Ben who dies; it's May.
Okay, but it's been done
not to
four
the third,
times.
right? Three,
yeah,
three or four times.
So the initial few,
enough.
they stuck to it, right?
Yeah.
And now they're like, okay, it's a little bit different.
We don't need to do Ben. We never
Everybody's
see
seen
it.
Uncle Ben.
They also
die.
didn't need to do that origin story again.
Right.
Everyone knows it really
I
well
love
at
the fact
this
they didn't
point.
do an origin story.
I also, honestly though, watching Aunt May die, that killed me more than knowing Uncle Ben was going to die because now we've seen it. We've seen her. She's a part of the story.
You don't think she was going to die.
That's your aunt. That's your aunt, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
Ben
felt so
always dies in the
connected.
first 10 minutes.
Whatever.
Because every
Shit
time
about
you
this old
see
guy.
Uncle Ben, you're like, all right,
You're
start
dead.
start the timer.
Start the timer.
You know?
He's dead
Like,
in 5, 4.
you never got
With
attached
great
to
power
him.
comes great
You're like, that's the guy that
responsibility, and
dies.
Kill him.
Even
That's the guy that dies. Yeah.
Even the Aunt
Right.
Mays in the other Spider-Mans, like there was no. I never felt like a connection. Like in the first
Not a
one.
big Sally Field fan, are you?
No. In the first
The
one.
Flying Nun, damn you! What the hell?
I know.
Bastard.
She can go fly.
Yeah, right off the roof. In the first one, the old lady. Oh, that's sad. The only thing that really got me is when she's sitting there doing the Lord's Prayer, and then Green Goblin's like, finish the prayer. And I was like, oh shit, that's bad. But that was it. You know, like there was nothing that connected me to Aunt May. On the Tom Holland verse, I was like, oh, she's a part of it. Like she knows that he's
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
She participates and
She's
Yeah.
with Happy.
She helps him.
She's in the
and
know.
you don't see her. You don't think she's going to die. You already automatically assume that Uncle Ben was there and he died already.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
Yeah, so we're done with that part of the story.
We don't need to have the
I
other.
don't know. I
need
don't
him
know
to die.
every Spider-Man storyline, but I don't remember ever them killing off Aunt May.
I don't either.
Anything that, you know what I mean? I think that would have been a pretty big.
That one blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they totally went south on that. So, Larry, what about you? What's something you want to
So-
rant about?
I told you about this the other day. First and foremost, I need to give props to Three Geeky Dads for this one.
Oh, I love those guys. So they shouted us out on their, I think it was their Krull episode.
Hey.
Or they shouted they were just doing some podcasts that they were listening to. We were number one. They talked about us. Our
nice.
podcast. So I definitely want to give
Let's go.
those guys a shout out.
Thanks to those guys.
I'm hoping to get them on our
Thanks,
show. I want to
guys.
be on their show. Those guys are awesome. If you haven't listened to the Three Geeky Dads,
Yes.
please
Yes.
do yourself a favor and go listen to some of their shows. So I'm now listening to their back catalog. I'm all caught up with their new stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going back to I'm going backwards oddly enough. Like, I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. In the Apple podcast doesn't have everything, but it's got starts at episode 40. But they've been doing it for 4 years.
Right. So
And these guys are
the reason
really funny, and
they
they're
did
really
they
funny.
did Scream, which I haven't seen yet, and I really want to watch it. So
The new Scream movie, yeah.
So they must go and
That
talk
was a great
about that
episode.
one. And the moment that they go, listen, we're going to spoil this, I was like, shit. So I haven't listened to it. I didn't listen to it, so because I really want to watch Scream. But a couple weeks ago, I was listening to one of their episodes, and I can't remember who mentioned it, but they mentioned the podcast Batman Unburied.
Yes.
That was coming out on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
It's toppled Rogan.
Which I follow Rogan, too.
It's more popular than the Rogan podcast.
Let me
right
tell
now.
you about Batman Unburied. Wow.
I heard it's pretty
so
killer.
good. I'm 4
I have to
episodes
get- I
in.
have to get into
They've
it.
released it 2 weeks ago. The first week they released episodes 1 and 2. This
As
last
you do.
one, 3 and 4. So I was like, oh. Basically, it's Bruce Wayne's dead, but not really.
Oh.
Maybe. We're not sure. I don't know. But the Riddler is the second best detective. So where I'm at on the pod is Barbara Gordon, basically.
So it's like a radio drama, essentially.
It's kind of, sort of, yeah.
It's
Oh,
how
that's
tell it.
cool.
Oh, it is so. Yeah, it's a story. So Barbara Gordon, like where I'm at now, is Barbara Gordon. She's just a detective. Her father got ousted, like he retired, whatever. Nobody liked him anymore because because of Gordon was being such a Batman guy, and brought. There was a lot of corruption in the police station and stuff like that. So that's why they
Kind of like a What If.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
So now with this one, she goes because she's trying to find. There's a serial killer called not the Collector, but it's the Harvester, and he kills people and he harvests organs out of them.
Right.
And so it's a crazy wild.
That's really creepy.
I'm telling you, it's a wild episode. So like where I'm at now is Barbara Gordon comes up with like fake documentation to get the Riddler out. The Riddler knows Bruce Wayne is fucking Batman, and he puts that on, and she's like, wait a minute. First of all, I don't know how you know that, but let's say he is, but he really isn't. He goes, yeah, I'm not that dumb. I know who he is. Yeah. So it's like, so she breaks Riddler out of jail because he's like, I don't believe he's dead either. We need to find him. And that's where I'm at, and I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah. That sounds so sick.
So, but I'm telling you, it was.
I gotta get into it.
The sound actors, the script is really good so far. The story is moving along. There really isn't a lot of drag to it.
Yeah.
It's only on Spotify. But yeah, so I got to give kudos to Three Geeky Dads. That was awesome. That I think their thing is what makes a geek flag fly.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's what made my geek flag fly.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. And I'm telling you, if you guys listen to this. This was such an awesome podcast so far. I love the Batman Unburied, and go follow that. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed.
Follow that and definitely
So
listen to
cool.
Geeky Dad.
Yeah, Three Geeky Dads.
Neil, how about you?
All right, I haven't really been watching much, but I have been following the Doctor Who news and the fact that the 14th Doctor has been revealed.
Yep.
Drum roll, it's Nkuti Gatwa. And
He's from what? Tell everybody what he's from.
I don't know what he's from.
He's from something else that's
I'm sure he
pretty
is.
popular. No, he's from a pretty popular show.
Oh, let me-
I've never seen it, but I know I've heard
Let me
of
look
the
it up.
show.
I'm not 100% sure.
Keep talking. I got you.
You just keep talking over there,
Oh.
Mila.
Oh, okay,
Larry
thanks.
will look up
All right,
We don't have
so-
data on the pad today. So.
Yeah. So, and I've also heard that Russell T Davies, who was the showrunner for like the first few seasons,
Yeah, he's back.
is back, and I'm so happy about that because I just think Chris Chibnall has been.
He blew it.
He blew it. The thing is, he just kind of kicked the like fans of like classic Who and stuff like that in the groin.
Yeah.
You know, and was just like, yeah, okay, who cares? And I'm
we don't
like,
care about you.
but I've been I watched all the episodes
disrespectful.
from
It's super
1963
disrespectful,
on, and now it doesn't matter. You know, not that it doesn't matter, but the fact that like I didn't even see the whole story. You know, there's like a bajillion stories before that, and the fact that it doesn't. We're gonna have to find it bit by bit. I'm like, is this really gonna be the show? Is this like? Are we now just going like
back in? And so
Yeah.
he'll right the ship. There's
yeah?
no doubt.
And
he'll
it's
right the
funny
ship again.
because I've heard that Chris Chibnall like absolutely thinks that Russell T Davies is going to just like completely dismantle like and disprove
retcon
what he's been.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
retcon.
good.
That's what it is.
And he should.
And I'm like, boy, I
Yeah,
hope he does.
He's just butthurt about it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, Nkuti Gatwa was in Sex Education.
That's what it is. It's a pretty popular show
Yeah.
over there. It's a pretty popular
Oh
show.
yeah,
over there,
yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know.
No, no.
I also know it's like
popular in
super
the UK.
popular.
in the UK and whatnot. It's a pretty popular
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
But yeah,
So that's
I
kind
am.
of a
So
get for
that's where he
kind of
does all his
yeah.
things over in
It's kind of a
okay.
get for that.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at Nkuti Gatwa, and I'm like, come on, like you and Russell T Davies, come on, save the ship. Come on, we can do it.
Awesome.
Do it.
Yeah. Also, the newest episode that came out was like Legends of the Sea Devils. It was kind of mid. I was like, okay. I liked that they brought the Sea Devils back because that was with the like from the classics. The Third Doctor it was like the 70s or something, a villain, and I was like,
She's got all the history.
Yeah, she does.
oh yeah, no, I've watched everything. I have
Right.
everything now. But
I've only seen since the Ninth Doctor on. Like I watched a
Yeah.
couple of the old episodes.
Yeah.
But I just
It's
can't
not-
stand TV from there.
it's not really
I
worth
don't- I-
watching all of them.
No, because I mean, like I watched original series.
Like, I
Trek,
could
and,
give-
like,
I could give
watched
out-
it once to say I
Yeah.
watched it.
Yeah.
But I will never go back and watch
yeah.
it.
The thing is, I could
There's
give
some good stuff
specific.
back there.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. There's some real like gems. The thing is, you'd have
stories
to know.
Can be good, but production
Yeah.
value sucks. I'm like, I can't.
I
It's
can.
like
I
watching
love.
old
Oh my
Star
God.
Trek.
Oh my God. I love the camp. I love campy stuff.
I don't have a problem with camp.
And
I
then-
love
and
the
the
Batman
old,
66,
like-
which is all camp.
Cheap like everything was cheaply made. They had like 2 rooms to work
absolutely.
with. They keep repainting it
had
and
like
stuff.
5 different special effects sounds, one of which was weird.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's like, all the like props are just repurposed over and over.
Bright
and over
lights, flashing, and
right.
annoying sounds.
I have a hard
like,
time with watching stuff like that.
absolutely, the
we have
shittiest
now, like,
use of
you
green
have your
screen
phone,
you've
right?
ever seen in your life.
You have what phone do you rocking over there?
Android.
Okay, so you have an Android, I have an iPhone, whatever you have, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, go back to a flip phone and start typing on that shit. You want to crush it.
T9, yeah.
You gotta click it 4 times to get the right letter.
I don't know. I used to be really good at it. I mean, you just get used to it.
Get used to it.
I used to be able to type without looking. I'd put it underneath my
Morse
desk and be like,
But now you have this. You want to go back to that?
I don't want to go back to that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But, so you have a choice. I can go
You
back
make
and
two.
watch those old Doctor Who's.
Yeah.
But I might as well just go back and pick up my
See, the thing is,
too.
I could probably. The thing is, you'd have to know which serials, like a series of episodes, to watch because they're not all good. And a lot of them are really mid and forgettable.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
you're
a
not
lot
watching
of them are
it's really good. You're watching it because it's a cult
It's
classic,
fun.
right?
It's so fun to watch.
It's good to have
I just
that
put it on,
perspective.
right?
But I wouldn't mind. Like I don't
But
mind.
if I'm going to
watching
recommend to
one-off.
someone, I'm not going to recommend they watch the entire thing because a lot of people that's not their flavor is watching like just about 60 years worth of like.
But what if you have the
Doctor Who? You know,
I would be more saying if you're going to watch the new stuff because I love the new stuff except for the newest new stuff. But I like Ninth Doctor on, right?
Yeah.
David Tennant's one of my favorites. I even like
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Smith. But like if you watch that, you might say to somebody, okay, go watch this episode of the old stuff to kind of because a lot of it ties back, right?
Yeah.
They reference a lot of stuff.
Oh my god, I love when they give
I think
fan
it's
service,
great.
but it's really far and few between.
Yeah.
Like references to classic, because the thing is, they know that most of the people watching
Not
now
like me,
are
have not watched the
are not
originals.
like classic fans.
So we completely lost.
But every once in a while, like I'll
There
catch.
was a Cybermen episode where like they had like the old.
They
Cybermen
brought
guy
back
had
the original ones with the
original-
12th Doctor. I was like,
yeah, the original Cybermen costumes.
That's
So I knew
the
what that
crappy
was.
cloth, stupid plastic
Yeah,
one.
it was like a
I love
bad-
that
it looked
one.
like a bad hazmat suit. You know what I
It
mean?
was
Like,
so good. That was one of
those
the
nuclear
best
suits
serials
was like
though,
cloth,
back
and you
then.
wouldn't have stopped anything. Yeah, that is absolutely. So
Oh, yeah.
there you go. So for me, I've actually started watching the new Star Trek series, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
And I'm liking it. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I like it. I like it's Captain Pike, who was the original captain
I heard about
from
that.
the
That actually
Enterprise from the
seems
original
really cool.
series on the pilot episode, and then like he doesn't die, but he comes back and he's like basically in this like hermetic like box because he can't move. You know what I mean? He got so screwed up, and that's how they get him out, and he can't be captain anymore. And that's what by the second episode, that's when they bring in Kirk. They retcon the show, but Spock was in both. Spock was on that bridge.
Yeah, Spock is the
And
only
yeah,
one that's
I
in every
heard
single
that, yeah.
Spock in this series. Somebody else playing Spock, whose name I can't remember. They have Uhura is there. Like she's a cadet basically. Like she's brandly new. Uhura, but she can speak like 32 different languages.
Oh, wow.
And she's from like Nigeria, so she had a lot of their dialects. It's crazy. It's a good show. The cast is really good. The guy who's
just
playing
hearing
Pike
that makes me happy.
The guy who's playing Pike is very like similar to the guy who originally played. Like there's kind of a connection there. And Kirk's father is on there, right? Because that's how. If you saw some of the newer what's his face, the director J.J. Abrams when he did his stuff, you saw. Was it Liam Hemsworth or one of the?
It was one of the Hemsworths.
One of the Hemsworths played Kirk's dad before they killed him off real quick. This one's a little weird. He's got kind of a porn star mustache. It's a little creepy. I'll be honest with you. He's got this little weird.
I thought it was Chris Hemsworth that played his dad.
It might be. It was either Liam or Chris. I can't remember.
Liam's the one with the dark hair. No, wait,
Yeah,
they don't. But don't they
Liam.
both have dark hair? Technically,
I think Chris was still doing.
He just
I think
dyes
Chris
it.
was doing the Thor stuff at the time. Check it out because it might have been Liam.
I
but I could be wrong. I could be claiming because it was only like for a few minutes and I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
So this series, you have Pike is the captain and Kirk is father. You know, he's there. He's like an ensign or whatever.
Yeah, it's Chris.
Is it Chris?
Hemsworth,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. So he's on there. This guy who plays Spock, he's good, but he's a little weird. He's got an accent, which is kind of throwing me off, like the actor.
Yeah.
And they're not really disguising it all that well. He's got kind of an accent. So, you know what I mean? Because no matter what you do, you know, Zachary Quinto played Spock. I don't care
He did
who
a really
you,
good.
He did a really good job. But when you say that, it's because you feel like he embodied, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. That's right. And when you're replaying an
when
older
Leonard
character.
Nimoy has been around for so long and defined that character.
You have to take on his personality.
You have to, because otherwise this is Spock.
Yeah.
But this is not the Spock I know for the last 60 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't resonate. You're missing.
So this guy he's not as good as Zachary Quinto as resonating with Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
But he's good. I mean, he's good. Okay, don't get me wrong. He's good. He's kind of a younger, different Spock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that relationship with Jim yet. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Spock's, character was his relationship with Jim because of his half human side. So Jim helped him to find his humanity. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the good part. But the show itself, I have enjoyed so far. If you like a Star Trek, the other good thing about it, because I just finished watching Picard season 2. I love Picard. I'm looking forward to the third and final season, where they're bringing back the entire Next Generation cast.
Let's go.
It's coming back to do the final season with him.
That should be awesome.
That sounds so cool.
If you see the ending of the second season, horribly, Will Wheaton comes back in to play Wesley Crusher. Oh my god!
Has he been
bad.
Hasn't he been soul searching for the past?
No, he was a traveler. So he goes.
Oh, my bad. Traveling
he's a
and
traveler.
soul searching.
He's a traveler to get people to be basically travelers, and they kind of help write the universe. Where the Q are over there trying to fuck it up, he kind of helps to write the universe and make things correct.
Oh.
So he's a traveler. So he comes back to get one of the characters from the show to become a traveler, and it was weird. It was like he wasn't playing Wesley Crusher; he was playing Will Wheaton.
Yeah,
like he was just kind of giggly and silly. Like, Will Wheaton is kind of goofy, especially now. Like, and you watch the show because it's on Paramount, and they do like the Ready Room, like the after show. Yeah, and he heads the after show, and he's kind of goofy.
Playing that guy.
It's the same guy. It's like you're just Will Wheaton. You didn't try at all, did you, dude? Like, do you remember the character? I mean, I know it's been a minute since you've been that character, but go watch a tape.
Yeah, go
throw
watch
a DVD and
reference or something.
Reference your old show.
Yeah, but his whole character was pretty.
But it's really
emotionally.
Goofy.
He wasn't really a good actor.
No, but like
it was very
but
he was
it's
very
almost
solid,
like,
very stone faced.
Yeah, but you're a traveler. Be that. That's fine. Be that. Just embody that because that's who you were.
Yeah.
Somehow you've evolved to this goofy fuck. So, but anyway, the new
Send the next plane to clown.
Yeah, the new Picard season is going to have the entire cast in it, so that's pretty cool. But so the reason I said this was Picard, like a lot of the Star Trek these days, has been like one overarching story through the season.
Yeah.
Right. This new show is going back to episodic. Like every episode is different. There's one minor thread about Pike and he's seeing his future because we all know what his future is or how it ends for him. So you're kind of seeing him dealing with that a little bit. But every episode is like Monster of the Week. It's a new planet. It's a new discovery. It's not.
That's cool. I appreciate that.
It's not one long overarching story.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool, right? You can pick up third episode
I love
if you
that
want to go
about
back to the
Star
first
Trek
one.
sometimes.
If you miss the second episode, it doesn't really matter.
It's not going to do anything
You go back and watch it
Are
later.
they going to bring back
Tribbles?
Tribbles?
Who knows? Maybe. You never know.
That would be awesome.
Wait, are you talking about the little fluff things that keep multiplying?
Yeah.
They brought that back in an episode of DS9. Did you see that
Yes, I
episode?
did. Yeah,
they
that
had to
was
like
funny.
disguise themselves as what the crew looked like, and so the DS9 crew had to go back in time essentially and deal with the Tribbles. So they were essentially there when all that was going on in the background. So they intercut.
I love how much of a threat these
no
things
way.
are.
So that's
It's
pretty
funny.
cool.
Really good. It's really
Or they would
good.
do like they're walking, you see like the back of Kirk. So somebody else just playing him, you know what I mean? It was really ingenious, even for then, like during the 90s.
Very clever.
When they were running that show and didn't have all the special
Yeah.
effects to do it. You know, where you could have like two people talking to each other now.
Yeah.
It's the same person, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. That's one of my favorite DS9 episodes. But yeah, so I would say watch the new Star Trek if you have Paramount Plus. Check it out. Cool?
There it is.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. We are Entertainment Rants at entertainmentrants.com. Check us out online. Write us a note at engageentertainmentrants.com. Let us know what you want us to rant about. We'll not stick to the topic at hand. We guarantee that. But check us out on our social media at at Entertainment Rants. All right. I want to thank all the ranters today. Thank you, Mila.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bruno.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, go out there and hashtag.
Let's rant.